The series in San Francisco, but the Phillies bounce back. And Bryce Harper does something he's never done in his career before.
That's why you watch, right?
That is why you watch. But it's also why we ask, is Bryce Harper back? Or how much more do you need to see? It's a big question for the Phillies this year. We'll talk about it today on Kincade Salciunas. Coming up next, 97.5 The Fanatic.
This is Kincade and Salciunas.
I'm not trying to get people to turn on Bryce Harper. I love Bryce. When he was announced, I still gave him the standing ovation. It was great to see him back. But if we're talking big picture World Series or bust, I just wonder how people will react if he can't be himself because of a decision that he made and his team made during the offseason.
Even if Bryce Harper is not Bryce Harper, he's better than what you've been trotting out there, and he's still going to get that respect from opposing pitching staff. So it's a step in the right direction.
Kincade and Salciunas. John Kincade, Andrew Salciunas.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
And a good Thursday morning to everybody out there across the Delaware Valley. I'm Connor Thomas in for Andrew Salciunas. He'll be back on Monday on vacation. John Kincade to my left sounding a lot better. You feel better, Johnny?
We literally were walking into the room and I went, wow, my voice sounds a little better this morning. I said, with my wife away,
Yeah.
the dog at the canine resorts, I'm sort of like all alone. And
You got nobody to talk to. You're just sitting around living the bachelor life. I love
maybe
it.
that's helped the voice.
Maybe it has.
The only thing I do is talk back to the TV.
Well,
That's about it.
Hopefully
or my
you had-
bad shots on the golf course.
well, that'll happen to everybody.
Plenty of that.
Hopefully you had good stuff to say yesterday during the Phillies' 13-0 rout of the San Francisco Giants.
Woof. Are you kidding me?
I mean,
I mean, are you serious?
yeah, they were unbelievable at the plate against a lesser version of Justin Verlander than we've seen in his career.
Okay, is there a time when greatness, you say to yourself, I'm just hanging on and I need to be done?
I think Clayton Kershaw might be at that point. I don't know if Verlander's there. Verlander's not terrible this year, but he has been bad in his 2 starts against the Phillies.
But how many, he's not Justin Verlander.
No.
But if you were Justin Verlander, though, do you ever want to go through a year where you're not Justin Verlander? You got $40 million. Like, you made $40 million last year. You made $40 million the year before. Seriously, what are you doing it for?
I wonder if it's milestone chasing. Like,
Could
seeing
be.
some of those names
What's
that
he
are
have,
up
like
there.
3,400 strikeouts or something?
Yeah, I think he's 10th all time. So I wonder
don't
if he's
know.
looking at and saying, how much more could I improve my
because
legacy?
he's had an amazing career.
Yeah, he's a generational pitcher, but he was not yesterday, and the Giants' bullpen got shelled to the point where they went position player pitching. And the number one thing that I took away from yesterday's game is Bryce Harper's performance. We saw him hit not just an opposite home run, but 3 opposite field doubles. I think 2 off the wall and 1 just short of it. He'd never had 4 extra base hits in a game in his career.
I couldn't believe that.
Unbelievable.
No, I couldn't believe that. When I heard that on postgame with Ricky, I was shocked that that's the case. And more importantly, I was shocked when Bryce was telling us how great he is after the game. He was saying how he's great.
Yeah, well,
That's
listen,
great.
yesterday he looked great.
I've watched all year and I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that Bryce looks in the mirror and sees that. I mean, if you're talking about for his career, he's been great.
So that's the question.
Not in 2025, he hasn't been.
No, he is not. And
No.
I'll take you through the mental process that I went through yesterday watching Bryce Harper.
Okay.
So he hits the home run I believe that was his first at bat, one of the
Which
first
is
2
great.
at bats. And I'm like, okay, great. Love to see that. Really encouraging sign. Not ready to do the whole Bryce Harper's back thing yet, but it's good to see, right? That could have been a breaking out point. And then he doubles. And then he doubles again. And then he doubles again. And I'm like, okay, is this just a good day, or how much are we going to let ourselves, as Phillies fans, get carried away from one afternoon in San Francisco to rewrite the narrative that a lot of people have been talking about, and we have as well, of if he's not Bryce Harper, how can you do what you're planning to do with this team, which is win the World Series?
Okay, let me look here. Okay, 91 games were played before yesterday. So now 92 games have been played. So I'm supposed to say, I've seen 91 games, but then I saw 1 game. So 1 game is going to disprove 91 games. No, I'm not going to do that because I've actually taken statistics classes and data analysis, and I know that would be stupid. So I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to do is I'm going to do what you did. I'm going to feel good about it.
You should.
And I'm going to feel like we're seeing some promise and that maybe he is coming out of it. I was more concerned by his explanation. Well, I wasn't getting into positive counts.
Yeah.
I wasn't getting into. I'm like, Bryce, it's 91 games and it's middle of July. So what were you doing?
I think when he was saying that, he was talking about Sense coming back from the wrist injury because we have seen him. And he talked about it after the Phil Cuzzy incident where he was like, I thought I was going to be in some good counts.
Sure.
Clearly, he knows he's not doing a good enough job of getting himself into hitters' counts.
I don't think he has all year, though.
Yeah.
Like, I think this year has not been Bryce-like. But you know what, though? A non-Bryce Harper-like year is still it's still
right.
a very, very good year. It's just not the Bryce that I believe this team demands if it's going to have aspirations of cool October nights down at Citizens Bank.
Yeah. Now, here's where I'm going to debate you on the it's stupid to think that this one game will. For the average player, you're absolutely right. But if someone were to make the argument, it's Bryce Harper. And I know at this baseline who this guy is as a baseball player. So I will believe he can do the impossible. I believe that he can flip a switch and turn back into that player. I will listen to that argument. Now, I am in your camp. One game is not enough for me to say this dude's fine, everything's great, he's back. Like, I'm not there yet. So if you are, though, because I saw a lot of people on social media, Harper's back, everything's fine, haha, people were worried.
Told you. Yeah, like, told you.
And I get it. Like, listen.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
I don't.
I do.
I don't know what people, like what they took in school.
Well,
it scares me.
No,
it scares me that people do that.
It's not school, though. It's baseball, and it's Bryce Harper.
Well, it's common sense. It's common sense, though. So it does scare me.
He's outperformed common sense before. He's that talented.
No, but one game doesn't prove anything.
It's not one game. People see this, and they go back to, hey, he played through the torn UCL and was productive. Hey, he came back from that injury faster than we've ever seen a baseball player come back from it. They go back to the history of who Bryce Harper has been as a generational baseball player. And for some people, yesterday was enough. And I'd love to know if you're in that camp at 610-632-0975. I'm with you, Johnny. Like, I'm not ready to look at this any differently today than I did yesterday when it comes to a season perspective.
But I'm thrilled to see yesterday.
Absolutely.
I'll take yesterday as seeing it great. Look, I'll give you an example here. So I play a golf course routinely. Saturday, I shot the best round I've shot all year on that golf course, 93.
Yeah.
Here are my other scores for the year for 18 holes on the same course. 99, 100, 101, 102, 102, 100, 103. So the day that I shoot the 93 and I walk off and I'm peacocking, am I going, I got it all figured out. I'm shooting 93. Figured it out. I was hitting greens. I didn't hit one bunker.
Yeah.
I wasn't out of the sand once. I wasn't doing the Saddam Hussein thing, jumping out of the bunkers all day long. So did I figure it out? No. What happened is on one day, I put it all together and it worked. If I see a weekend of it in San Diego, then we can talk on Monday.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'll talk about it then. But like the idea that somebody's back because of one day against tomato can pitching, and it was tomato can pitching. It was tomato cans.
I mean, it
was bad.
Well, the Giants have the best bullpen ERA in baseball. So
I know,
there were
but
some
but it was
out there.
Yesterday was a bad day for that bullpen.
Yeah. And
terrible day.
Verlander is not Verlander anymore.
We would be. Verlander is a shadow. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, well, he's old.
He's cooked.
But here's the difference between John Kincaid's golf game and Bryce Harper's baseball game. Is like this would be like if 2 years ago you had gone out and you had played that course, and every time you're shooting in the high 80s, low 90s. And then you have a rough year, and then you shoot that 93 again, there is history to say, okay, I'm turning back into that guy that I have been for most of my time.
Well, wait a minute, though. I was like a 15 handicap at one time.
Fair enough.
I'm just saying. And I did have a very rough year, as you well know. But no, I'm saying, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But it's the idea is, though, is that's my norm.
Right.
My norm was better. Look, I love the attitude you took, though. You loved yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm all for loving yesterday. And I loved it. And I think it's great. And it's promising.
Right.
And we got 3 games to the All-Star break. And I want to see Bryce take it and roll with it.
So I'm more on, like, I am on your side. We have the same point. I'm just saying, like, I understand where the he's back thing comes from, but I'm not there yet. And I'd love to hear from people who are or people who aren't. Like, does yesterday affect your bottom line of who Bryce Harper is for this baseball team? or is it just one game? Again, you can chime in at 610-632-0975. Coming up next, a Baseball Hall of Fame writer is going to jump in on the debate. Jason Stark talked about something that I don't think he realized yesterday was going to be as important as it is today with Bryce Harper's performance. How much Harper has struggled? Well, Stark talked about it yesterday with Mike Missanelli. We will play that for you next and get further into this. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey everybody, it's Bill Colarulo, and coming up at 2 o'clock on Unfiltered, is Bryce Harper back? If you've been listening to me, you know I've been worried about that wrist injury. Could he get that power going? He hadn't hit an extra base hit since his return from the IL. Well, he gets 4 of them yesterday. Is he back? And how about Jesus Lazardo, a much-needed bounce-back start? What does all of this mean for the Phillies as they're only a few days away from the All-Star break? All coming up on Unfiltered right after the Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Have you tried hands-free Skechers slip-ins yet? Because if you haven't, you're missing out on technology that changes how you think about shoes. First, these are not just regular slip-on shoes. They're not just a pair of loafers without laces. But what makes them different is the technology inside that lets you just step into them. There's a built-in hidden shoehorn that slides your foot in, so they look, feel, and wear just like a pair of shoes you're used to. Except you don't have to bend down, struggle to put them on, or touch them. Try them at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The real and inside story on Philly sports is here, and it's powered by Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com.
That's LundyLaw.com.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
This is Kincade and Salciunas, Philadelphia Sports Talk. 97.5 The Fanatic.
This hour of Kincade and Salciunas is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro.
Not only do we get to react to a great Phillies win from yesterday, a 13-0 drubbing of the San Francisco Giants, but it's also a Wendy's Thursday. So we got 4 $50 Wendy's gift cards to give out throughout the show today, 1 per hour. So you're going to want to make sure that you stay tuned for the entirety of the show. It's a great little...
I wondered why Brendan Gunn was so pumped up and excited this morning.
Oh,
It's Wendy's Day, baby.
It's a Wendy's Thursday.
Wendy's Thursday. I'm Connor Thomas in for Andrew Salciunas. John Kincade to my left, Brendan Gunn on the board. And where we started the show, we were talking about Bryce Harper. And the day he had yesterday, goes 4 for 6, a homer, 3 doubles. Those 4 extra base hits, I saw Bill Colarulo of Unfiltered tweet. Those 4 extra base hits are more than he had in like the past 47 days of baseball, I think it is.
It's if you take the time he spent on the injured list, the month and a half before that.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. It's like, that's why saying he's back is ridiculous.
Right, but like sitting there watching that game.
You're thrilled. Just be thrilled. Like,
Right,
it doesn't have to be a major pronouncement. It can just be, we're thrilled that Bryce Harper had a great day.
I know, but
Remember when, who was it? Remember when Red Dress
Weston Wilson.
Weston Wilson.
Yeah, he hit for the cycle.
Exactly. Was Weston Wilson like, oh my gosh, it's Weston Wilson. This is what he is.
But how can you put Weston Wilson and Bryce Harper in the same sentence?
Because-
one has a proven track record. One's a quad A player.
Because one can show you because of exactly this. It can show you that anybody on any given night can do these wild things in baseball. Anybody can do them. And a great player like Bryce Harper doing it means it actually means a little less. That means it means a little less when a guy like Weston Wilson can do it. When Weston Wilson can come up and do it and have that big night.
But you were asking for Bryce Harper to do it for a long time.
No,
he
but
finally
you're
goes
thrilled.
yard opposite
and we're
field
thrilled
and
that he
3
is.
doubles.
And we're thrilled that he is. But it doesn't mean that you then make a pronouncement. He's back. He's back.
I'm not saying he's back,
baby.
but I feel a lot better today than I did yesterday at this time.
I'm thrilled to see it too. But just leave it at that. It doesn't need the stupid tweets. And see, he's back. All you people who doubted him, he's back. Because you know what the people will do? They will be nowhere to be found if he's 3 for 13 this weekend with 3 singles. And no runs batted in.
That's okay.
And that's the big thing is he had no RBIs in like 80% of his games in that same period of time.
Still only got 1 yesterday.
I know.
for
I'm
all
saying
this.
he's not being a run producer.
Well,
and I mean, and he has he has the number 1 hit leader in the National League batting in front of him. I don't want to. I mean, so seriously, let's just breathe. Let's be thrilled for Bryce. I love how you started things today. Be thrilled for what we saw yesterday, but stop with the stupid pronouncements, or else I'm going to require everybody take a statistics class.
I love the stupid pronouncements because it shows me that
that people are stupid.
No,
because we all are at times.
No,
let's be honest.
That people can jump back in on Bryce Harper or this baseball team.
Well, why would you jump out on him?
You tell, listen.
Jumping out on him is stupid. Saying, can Bryce Harper be the Bryce Harper we've seen in the past? I don't think is stupid.
Yeah, but there were people that jumped out on Bryce Harper that, this wrist, like he'll never be able to do what they need to do. Like there were people that were out on this team, and like this just shows me. I know, but that's part of this fan base.
Well,
right?
The thing is, though, being out on the it's like levels.
Yeah,
it's like being out on this team. We had our own Kevin Cooney talking about it. Is you're not out on the team if you think they're a 90-plus win team and going to be in the playoffs. You're not out on this team.
Right.
If you don't think this team as currently constituted can win a World Series, I raise my hand, then you're not out on the Phillies.
Right.
You just think they're a good team, but they're not a good enough team.
I understand.
And I can be moved.
There's like 15 to 20% of this fan base that all year has felt like said they're dead from the get-go.
But
I
think
that bothers me.
But I think those are the lunatic fringe, and you're never going to move the lunatic fringe.
And I think the Bryce Harper is back. He's never been more back, or the lunatic fringe positive. But I can understand where both of those groups come from. And I can also understand the people who say, I got to wait and see more from Bryce Harper, because Jason Stark was with Mike Missanelli yesterday. And he talked about the struggles of Bryce Harper this year and just how long they've gone on for.
Yeah, this is a big question, and I think he's the biggest X factor maybe in the league this year. First off, I don't know that we have seen the real Bryce at any point this season. I mean, right now he's obviously a mess. 4 for 22 with 10 strikeouts since he came back and no extra base hit. But even before that, Mike, we have not seen him consistently be able to hit the ball hard in the air to the pull side at any point. 4% pull rate on balls in the air this year. Unheard of for Bryce Harper. Now, he still hits the ball hard when he hits it, but he's seeing a ton of off speed. He sees the fewest pitches inside the strike zone of any hitter in baseball. And one reason for that is he's chasing outside the zone at a rate that we've never seen him chase. So the upshot is he actually has fewer home runs this season than Cody Clemens has hit for the Twins since the Phillies DFA'd him. And if I had told you in March that would be the state of Bryce Harper on July 9th, would you have thought the Phillies would be in first place now?
Now, the answer to that question would be probably not. I would not say that the Phillies would be in first place if that.
But
was
it tells you how
the case.
dire it is.
Yeah, like that's why
it's been dire.
That's why one game is not enough.
Correct.
That's why one game doesn't turn it over.
It has been a disaster of a year, honestly, for Bryce Harper's standards.
Right.
By his standards, it's been a disaster. But hopefully that is the beginning of something, an unveiling of something yesterday.
Yeah, I'll explain a little bit further, though, why I do like the strong reaction to the positive yesterday from Bryce Harper, even though I don't agree with it. And I'm not saying Bryce Harper is back. I like that there's a portion of the fan base that can still get to that point off of one game. So that be that blindly positive. Because to me, it's more of the temperament of the fan base and the view of the organization than the reality of the situation, which I agree with you. Bryce Harper, not ready to say he's back, but maybe you are. 610-632-0975. Would love to hear from you on the phone line and text line. There's another guy that we're going to have to check in on later on in the hour who started on the mound yesterday. But I've got a question for John to take this to the next level, because I had a feeling that we were both going to be on the same side as to Bryce Harper being back. What's the line that we're looking for? Do we have a set one, or is it a you'll see it and you'll know it when you see it? We'll talk about that next year on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Everybody hits. Whoa. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update. And it's brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's has $1 soft drinks, any size, all breakfast long. Coke, Sprite, Strawberry Fanta, whatever you want. Any size soft drink for $1. It's got to be Wendy's. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Terms apply. The Phillies bounced back in a major way yesterday and avoided getting swept by the Giants with a 13-0 win. The story of the game was that the bats came alive. Bryce Harper recorded his first four extra base hit game of his career and his 10th home run of the season as well. Kyle Schwarber also went yard for the 29th time. He's currently on pace to become the second Philly ever to reach 50 home runs in a season, joining Ryan Howard in 2006. The most impressive thing about yesterday, though, was every starter in the lineup came through with an RBI. On the mound, Jesus Lazardo won 7 innings, did not allow a run on 3 hits. The Phils have an off day today before beginning a 3-game series with the Padres on Friday. The Sixers continue their summer league action tonight when they face the San Antonio Spurs. Tip-off for that game is tonight at 9. VJ Edgecombe, though, he's going to be held out for a 3rd straight game due to a left thumb sprain. He'll be reevaluated on Saturday. This update was also brought to you by Groundworks, your expert for basement waterproofing and foundation repair since 1997. Book your free inspection today at groundworks.com. You're listening to the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Do you feel unfulfilled? Do your afternoons feel like Groundhog Day because you keep hearing the same old tired takes? Good news. There is a solution to your afternoon drag.
Unfiltered with Ricky Bo and Bill Colarulo. 1 4-hour dose every weekday from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. will sharpen your mind, give you the knowledge you need, and add that boost of energy needed to make that drive home.
Just turn the dial. It's that easy.
Make the switch. Unfiltered. Weekdays at 2 p.m. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. For fans of all ages, if you have a sports talk radio problem, call 610-632-0975.
Hey, it's Kenny Sargent with Speed Freaks, and are you still paying full price for gas? Well, stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use the limited time promo code CONNECT and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. Listeners are making $200 to $300 a year just from buying the gas they already needed. Don't wait. Download the free Upside app now and use the promo code CONNECT to redeem your 25 cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code CONNECT. Look, at first, I thought it was too good to be true, but it's totally legit. Plus, you can cash out anytime. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using promo code CONNECT. That's promo code CONNECT to redeem your 25 cent per gallon bonus. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 25 For monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Payoff via virtual prepaid for below 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Hey, it's Ricky Metallico. NASCAR returns to Dover Motor Speedway July 18th through the 20th for the General Tire 150, the Bet Rivers 200, and the Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 400 Cup Series race Sunday, July 20th. See NASCAR's best drivers race at speeds up to 200 miles an hour. And an amazing fan zone with the world's largest rubber duck. An all-new Miles Beach featuring a boardwalk and 600 tons of sand. NASCAR Kids Zone and more. Get tickets at DoverMotorspeedway.com.
Retirement income you can't outlive is critical after you stop working. Dan White & Associates can show you how to create that retirement paycheck you can't outlive. For nearly 4 decades, Dan White & Associates has been helping clients prepare financially for their retirement years. They can stress test your retirement plan and give you the tools to maximize what you've got. Call 610-358-8942. 610-358-8942 or visit danwhiteandassociates.com.
Unfiltered. Silvana Kelleher, Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo. Bold, passionate, and unapologetic conversation for the Philly sports fan. Weekdays at 2 p.m. Philadelphia's source for breaking sports news. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. This is Kincade and Salciunas. Philadelphia Sports Talk. 97.5 The Fanatic.
So, Johnny, I'm going to need you to set a line for me because
I love setting lines.
I hate that I'm putting this on you like I'm not on the same side of this argument. We've been talking about Bryce Harper, and if yesterday's performance, 4 for 6, 3 doubles, a homer, his first 4 extra base hit game in his career.
Amazing.
Which is like wild. It kind of reminds me of the Zach Wheeler's complete game against the Reds on Sunday. That was his first complete game since 2021. I was like, really? You got to be kidding me with that. But this is just one of those performances that got a lot of people like really excited. We were excited as well. But the question is, how much does it let you change your perspective of what he's going to be for this baseball team going forward? Like, how far do you take it when you see him have that type of performance? I'm not ready to say he's back. I'm not ready to say, like, oh, World Series back on. It was a very encouraging performance, but I'm not taking it any more than just he had a really good day yesterday. He's capable of really good days still. Can he string them together?
I refuse to consume baseball like football.
Yeah.
So I just won't do it. So, but I'm thrilled with yesterday. That's it. That's where, period, end of story. I'm thrilled that I saw yesterday. I'd love to see more of it. Going to be a weekend series of the Padres that maybe we can see. You know, he puts together a couple good games there because Padres is a good baseball club.
They are.
Even though they win one, they lose one. They win one, they lose one. They're puttering around right now. I have a ton of respect for that team. Mm-hmm. But you got your 3 horses going.
Yes, you do.
Going right into the All-Star break. So here it is. See what you can do heading into the break. By the way, if you are so inclined, you are in first place, so I will give you the number. It's 72 this morning.
Love that.
The magic number 72. You could have it in the 60s by Monday.
Yeah, that'd be a great place to be.
That'd be nice.
And the Mets
play 2 today.
Yeah,
they play at noon and 5 down in Baltimore.
So hey, if you've got MLB pass or whatever,
sure,
you can go ahead
root
and
against the Mets.
Yeah,
who are ravaged by injuries.
Yes, they are. And
they're ravaged.
That's where the Phillies do have a leg up, at least face value, is they don't have these serious injuries that are crushing them right now. Bryce Harper's was one that we were keeping an eye on and still will be, but you feel better about that today.
Well, he's playing at least. I mean, the Mets injuries, they're not playing.
Yeah, and Aaron Nola has been covered up by the strength of the other guys in this rotation. And outside of that, you've been pretty darn good, knock on wood, injury-wise.
By the way, I will say it again. And yes, if you think I'm being a conspiracy theorist, I'll say it. And I'll say it into the camera. I believe that the Aaron Nola thing is a shutdown. I believe Aaron Nola could be pitching. And I think he'll be back after the All-Star break, and I think this break is something that was partially the Mick Abel thing.
Yeah.
And partially you've worked your backside off for this franchise, and let's make sure we get you totally right and don't rush you back.
Right.
And Aaron Nola will be back in the second half, and I thoroughly expect, I'm very confident, that Aaron Nola will be a much better pitcher than we see him in the second half.
Well, it can't be much worse. But
I'm confident we will see him return to at least 2 out of the 3 outings where we're going, okay, wow, did we acquire a pitcher at the trade deadline? Did we go and make a deal?
Yeah, it has been a fishy situation with how they.
Because I think that's what this was about.
That. Yeah,
they didn't have space for him, and I think it was one of those things where he's logged so many innings.
Right.
They just signed him to a mega contract. Hey, let's make sure you're totally okay, and let's give that arm a little rest.
Take a little time.
Let's give it a little rest, and let's look at the young kids. We're doing well. Are you okay with this? That's my guess.
You know what's funny? I've just totally given up on using any brain power because I don't have that much to begin with on what's going on with Aaron Nola.
See, I win the bet. I told you that, Gunner. I told you that. He doesn't use his brain.
You'll have to rub it in.
So.
But no, even 2-3 weeks ago, maybe even to a month ago, I was just kind of like, we'll see him when we'll see him. We'll see what he is. He's not part of the equation for the Phillies right now for me. And if you get him back, he's a bonus. And if you don't, you don't. But
how about this? I'll tell you right now. This will be bold and beautiful.
Okay.
July 10th, I believe we will have a discussion before the end of this year of Aaron Nola pushing to get a playoff start.
Interesting. So
that we will see a streak out of him where people go, uh-oh. Is Topper going to go, wait a minute, we got to get Nola a playoff start?
So that means,
because he's been great,
that Abel and Painter get blocked from being in the rotation.
Well, I don't think Abel's going to be in the rotation. So I don't think he's going to be there.
Yeah.
And right now, and if Painter's there, it's a gift.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't earned it.
Well, I mean.
He hasn't earned it. Guys getting called up from AAA with these numbers, by the way, and I saw this. I'll steal this directly from MLB Network. These aren't the numbers that get pitchers called up from AAA. These are not his performance this year. Are not the numbers that get you called up from AAA.
I get you, but he's not getting called up for this year. He's getting called up for previous years. And right or wrong, they see him as a top pitching prospect, and he's going to get that opportunity based on what he did earlier on in his minor league career. He gets that type of leeway because he was the top pitching prospect in this organization, still is.
I want to know what the rush is.
The top pitching prospect in baseball. The rush, there is
with him. There's not they're keeping a guy who is absolutely being held down.
Yeah.
Who should be in the major leagues at a position you could use him in center field. You're holding him down, and you're bringing a pitcher up who honestly is not earning it with his performance. That doesn't make sense. It's completely counter argument.
Yeah.
One of your top prospects who's done everything you've asked him to do, and you're keeping that young man down, and you're bringing up a guy who isn't earning it.
Right.
And there's to me, it's a contrary argument.
We said it yesterday, though. A big part of it, I think, is the position player versus the pitcher. You'd have to go with Crawford day in and day out.
At least 5 starts a week.
Right.
Yes.
And Painter, you're giving 1 start a week in a spot in the rotation that is currently up for grabs. So it's just an easier fit, which I think is a big factor. But at the same time,
it certainly is an easier fit.
I'd like to see both of them up. And I would like to see both of them up before the end of the month because I'd like to see what that looks like before you make your bold decisions at the trade deadline. And that's something we'll have to keep an eye on after the All-Star break as to what the Phillies do there.
And by the way, too, can I just say one thing real quickly?
Of course.
By the way, I texted Jason Stark the other day when I read his column this week in The Athletic. If you haven't read Jason Stark in The Athletic, I texted Jason. I said, I think it was one of your best columns I've ever read leading up to the trade deadline. Mm-hmm. And it's like 10 storylines for 10 teams and all these other little facts. It's a great piece, so go read it in The Athletic if you haven't. And also, too, if I see one more person say the Phillies, well, Nola could be on the trade block.
Stop it.
Nobody's trading for Aaron Nola on that contract. For God's sake, stop.
Do we have to add him to the no-trade list that we put together?
Just stop.
I thought that was without saying.
Nobody's trading for Aaron Nola's contract. Stop it. The Phillies were the only team willing to give him that contract. He was free for everybody to sign in baseball. Nobody was willing to do it. The Braves pushed the Phillies into signing him to that contract. There's nobody signing for that contract and giving him that many years. So Aaron's going to be here, and I don't think it's going to be a bad thing.
No. He'll look much better at some point.
Hopefully, yes.
Like he has to,
right.
But I don't know how consistent it'll be. But back to this Bryce Harper thing on him being back. Now, what is the line for you? Like, what do you need to see? Is it a week's worth of not every day 4 extra base hits? It was the first time he did it in his career. But a week's worth of him looking like the Bryce Harper that we've seen when he's at his best. A month, like the rest of the regular season.
How about a run producer? How about I see a nice weekend in San Diego, and again, a nice weekend. And then I start to see the last 2 weeks of July, I start to see the run producer, Bryce Harper, show up. He's got guys ahead of him in the lineup that have been getting on base.
Yeah.
He's not getting them in.
So if for the rest of the month.
I need to see Bryce Harper. The extra base hits aren't even as important to me as the
RBIs.
Run production.
Yeah.
He's not been a run producer. That's what I need to see most. So I'm looking at, I want to see him knocking in 4 or 5 runs a week.
Yeah, so let's say he has 12 RBIs by the time July ends.
Oh, my God.
From now until then.
Oh,
he's back to you?
That would make me feel like he's back.
Okay.
That would make me feel like, okay, I'm feeling really good heading into August.
I think that's a very fair line. I'm willing to jump on it. If you have room on that line for me, I'm willing to.
How about over 10.5? I'll even feel that way.
Cool. Let's set it right there.
10.5 runs batted in before the end of the month. And then we could look at August as a clean slate and say, hey, in August, how about you give me 14?
Yeah. And then you look for that continued production, but at that point, we feel much better.
The power, I don't think is going to be there.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But it could be okay as long as the run production's there.
The home run has gotten overrated in baseball. The thing that wins you games is runs. All right?
Yep.
Runs are important. And we'll see if Bryce Harper can do that. But I think that's a very fair line you set, and I'm willing to jump on that with you.
There you go.
So our Kincade and Salciunas line, and Andrew's getting roped into this because he took vacation. That's his fault.
Good for
10.5 RBIs for Bryce Harper between now and the end of the month, and we say he's back. That's where we're at. But we're not doing it until the end of July.
Not till then.
We're not quite there yet. Are you? We'll check the text line coming up next. And we'll talk about a pitcher that we're still trying to figure out who threw a gem yesterday. Did it feel like a gem to you? And what does he feel like to you this year? Of course, we're talking about Jesus Lazardo. We'll discuss that next here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Ray Dunn, Mike Missanelli.
You're giving 2 roster spots to 2 players who showed you last year their age on a roster you said you wanted to get younger. They've gotten older.
He just got done telling me that they made a mistake, and he does the same thing.
All right, I'm out. Done with the Sixers. I got to tell you, Mike, when I got that notification yesterday that Lowry was re-signing, all I could think about was, I just can't wait to tee Mike up about this tomorrow.
Enough is enough now.
The Mike Missanelli Show. Weekdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
I can tell you a lot of things as an endorser, but I can't tell you anything better than if you need your life saved, Dr. Sprandio and the consultants in medical oncology and hematology can help save your life. Dr. John Sprandio Jr., his dad founded the practice, CMOH.org, with 3 convenient locations in Delco. And I tell you that they're really convenient locations because this may not mean anything to you right now, but they have easy front door drop-offs, no need to take an elevator. You walk right in. There's no parking garages. Those things matter when you're a cancer patient, I can tell you, because every day can be a struggle bus. And they schedule your appointments for you, your consults quickly. And they're a Delco-based independent oncology practice. And they focus on excellent individualized care. And since they're independent, they can work with all the different healthcare providers across the area. So you're not tied to like one tree of providers. You can get the best care possible. And believe me, they have the best contacts. They know everybody. Look, they gave me my life back. And I feel like a new man, all because of them and the hard work I put in too. But they showed me how. And they're like family now. CMOH.org. That's the Consultants in Medical Oncology and Hematology.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This summer with Kohl's, you can rack up the compliments
Like, where'd you get that dress? Tell me all your makeup secrets. Or, ooh, my husband needs that polo in every color. Because Kohl's has what you need. Cute dresses, Sephora essentials, stylish polos, comfy kids clothes, and more. Plus, take 20% off some of your faves. Yep, cue the compliments with Kohl's. Select styles, some exclusions apply. Offer ends July 20th. Coupons and Kohl's Cash do not apply to Sephora. See store or kohls.com for details.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Wendy's has $1, any size, a la carte soft drinks, all breakfast long. Coke, Sprite, strawberry Fanta, whatever you want. Any size soft drink for $1? Gotta be Wendy's. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Exclusions apply.
Not only can you listen to The Fanatic, but you can also watch on 97.5 The Fanatic's YouTube channel.
Watch the live stream of Kincade and Salciunas, weekdays from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and the Mike Missanelli Show from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Go to youtube.com/97.5 The Fanatic Philadelphia and subscribe today to be part of the action.
Wherever you are, the Kincade and Salciunas Show is accessible. Did you know you can watch the show on YouTube right now?
You can listen to the show anywhere via 975thefanatic.com.
If you missed a show, then listen to the on-demand podcast or watch on YouTube.
And of course, we are live weekday mornings 6 to 10 on 97.5 The Fanatic.
By the way, yes, it is a Wendy's Thursday, and we've got 4 $50 Wendy's gift cards to give out. It's also an Adam Schefter Thursday. He had a flight yesterday.
Yeah, a little shift.
He flipped. I think he's doing this to try and get in on the Wendy's a little bit. We might have to send him some.
Okay.
But Schefter will join us coming up at 7:55. We'll talk some NFL stuff as training camp is under 2 weeks away. So what's the latest going on as the NFL prepares for what really is the official start of football season right there once training camp gets rolling.
For that.
Now, it's very much baseball season, even though next week is going to be one of those dead weeks with the All-Star game and everything. We were just talking about it in the break where
it's a week that I guess the All-Star game's lost a little luster for me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It just doesn't have the same, to me, the panache. So,
like, the best part of the All-Star game is kind of hearing the in-game interviews and hearing some of the guys you don't normally hear talk. And even that is just like, okay, cool, but it's not the same. Every All-Star game, though, in sports has gone downhill, it feels like, lately.
Yeah. I'm not it was fun watching Alec Boehm last year in the Home Run Derby.
That was cool.
But Home Run Derby, even to me, now next year it'll be here. I guess that'll be a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know, when it's here, that'll be more important, but it just doesn't hold it for me.
I'd like to go in person, but watching it, I mean, unless one of your guys is in it, I don't know. Or unless it's like Judge is in it or Ohtani is in it. Like, they also haven't had the big-time names every single year. So, yeah, we'll still have plenty of stuff to get into next week when the Phillies take their All-Star break. But it's a time of year where we're still focused on the baseball team, and Jesus Lazardo is a guy that deserves focus because coming up, we're going to talk about this segment.
Is he focused?
Well,
That's what I want to know.
Who in the world is Jesus Lazardo to you after this first, like the pre-All-Star break part of the year? A lot of ups, a lot of downs, really, really good starts, and then really, really bad ones. I still can't figure this guy out.
I'm trying to figure it out myself, and I just don't know because if you look at it, his starts are so incredible except for the 4 clunkers.
Yeah, so it's
he's
just
had 4 terrible starts, and then he's been like unstoppable. In his other ones, he has a ton of starts where he's given up 2, 1, or nothing.
Yeah, his range as what you can get from him is wider than any other Phillies starter.
Did you, by chance, it might have been your nappy time, might have been nap time, Ricky Bo yesterday, and I'll tell you, I DVR'd General Hospital, so I did not watch it. So don't spoil it for me.
Okay.
If you were watching. I watched Ricky Bo and Michael on the pregame. And I watched, talking about what did he feel with Lazardo. And he did a film study on Lazardo. He was talking about how high the glove was.
Mm-hmm.
and he was showing how in the bad starts, Lazardo's glove was up too high.
Yeah.
And where it was in the good starts. And it was interesting to watch. It's like Ricky is picking apart this video, and I'm like, okay, I'm worried about Unfiltered. I'm thinking Ricky's trying to audition to be a pitching coach.
Yeah.
Because he was showing you from one start to another, here's what I'm seeing, and I hope the Phillies are seeing this. And I'm saying, okay, I hope the Phillies are watching this. Are they watching this? Because he was pointing out, look where his glove is.
Right.
Look where he's doing. And Ricky's picking this out. And to me, that was a eye-opening. And yesterday, from watching what Ricky said pregame, the glove angle was totally different.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that as well, because that might seem like a minimal thing to some people. It is not. But I do want to check our text line on that Bryce Harper conversation we were having. Do you think he's back? And if not, where is that line for you where you will say he is back? Brendan, what do we have on the text line?
No name on this one, but he said Harper had a great game yesterday, but slow down. He's still hitting 250 for the season with just 10 home runs. He needs to be hitting 290 plus with 35 home runs by the end of the season if he still wants to call himself one of the best players in baseball. There's a lot of players currently outproducing him this year.
Well, yeah, there are going to be guys that outproduce him. He's not going to hit 35 home runs this year. I'm telling you that right now. Bryce
There's
Harper,
no way 35's coming.
No.
But he could still be. How about getting the runs batted in up?
Yeah.
Get that up, and I'll be fine with that.
The bigger thing with Harper is you got to look at the pacing numbers, because he's too far in a hole with what he did not do the first stretch of the season because of this wrist thing and because of maybe other outside factors, chasing more than he ever has in his career, maybe pressing a little bit because he feels he doesn't have the power. But if you're looking at the compilation stats of like, oh, he's got to hit X many home runs or have X many RBIs, I don't think that is fair to evaluate him at this point in the season. I think you need to look at it in like couple week or month-long stretches of like, what has he done over this month? Because he's not going to end the season with Bryce Harper numbers. We're too far into the season for him to completely turn it around. It doesn't mean he can't be that guy, though, for a month or for 2 months. So it's just like,
okay,
I'm not saying like, I'm saying Bryce Harper's not going to be a 115 RBI guy. He's not going to be a 35 home run guy.
But show me that it's totally taken a turn.
Exactly.
Said, show me in the second half of the season that Bryce Harper can knock in 40.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
like,
about.
okay, the momentum's going. You're cruising towards the postseason, and you're feeling good again. Show me that Bryce is getting back to being Bryce, and I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah,
because I'm never going to doubt that Bryce Harper is going to be a really, really good player. But can Bryce be Bryce? When I heard Bryce tell me how great he was yesterday, I was a little surprised in that postgame. I was like, wow.
Yeah,
he's supremely confident.
He might have had something click yesterday.
I'm here for it.
But
Put it that way.
we aren't going to be able to tell that on one game.
That is correct.
We're going to be able to tell that on a couple of weeks, maybe a month. And we set the line 10.5 for RBIs the rest of the way.
And that's fair. And if he goes over that, it's great. And that gives him, by the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's a lot of games. That's 15 games to get 11 RBI. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very fair.
I think that's a totally fair line.
That will tell me Bryce Harper is back to getting there to where he is. The power numbers, I don't think are coming back.
No, and they may not have to as long as that run production is there, which is the exact point you're making.
Right.
Now, Jesus Lazardo, like, what in the world is this guy? Because you have the clunker starts. You have the, okay, he's really, really good, but I don't know. If Jesus Lazardo, this is the mental exercise I want people to go through. And I want you to let us know on the phone line and text line, 610-632-0975, how you'd answer this. If Jesus Lazardo was making a playoff start tomorrow, do you feel more confident than not that you're getting a good one? Because I'm trying to determine how ready you are to consider him. Like Ranger, Christopher Sanchez, Zach Wheeler, playoff starters, no doubt in my mind right now. I don't know that I can say that about Lazardo, and he was great yesterday.
I got something that might change your mind on that.
Ooh, on those three guys
hold
too?
On Lazardo.
On Lazardo. Okay.
Specifically.
Well, we will get into that coming up next, and we will get deeper into the confidence in who's going to be in the playoff rotation conversation. Is 3 lefties in a playoff rotation a problem? I don't think it is. I think our team's a perfect example as to why. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
First for Bryce Harper. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update, and it's brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. The Phillies bounced back in a major way yesterday and avoided getting swept by the Giants with a 13-0 win. The story of the game, though, was the bats came alive. Bryce Harper recorded his first 4 extra base hit game of his career, including his 10th home run of the season yesterday. Kyle Schwarber also went yard for the 29th time this season. He's currently on pace to become the second player in team history to have a 50-plus home run season, joining Ryan Howard in 2006. The most impressive thing about yesterday, though, was that every starter in the lineup came through with an RBI. On the mound, Jesus Lazardo went 7 innings, did not allow a run on 3 hits. The Phils have an off day today before beginning a 3-game series with the Padres on Friday. The Sixers continued their Summer League action tonight when they face the San Antonio Spurs in their Summer League squad. Tip-off for that game's at 9. You're going to have to watch without VJ Edgecombe for a 3rd straight game as he's now being held without playing with that left thumb sprain. He'll be reevaluated on Saturday. This update was also brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's has $1 soft drinks, any size, all breakfast long. Coke, Sprite, strawberry, Fanta, whatever you want. Any size soft drink for $1, it's got to be Wendy's. Limited time only at participating Wendy's. Terms apply. I'm Brendan Gunn, and you're listening to the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The summer's here, and you know what that means. Engagement season. But remember, don't force it.
Don't tell your significant other something so ridiculous they almost feel obligated to engage and prove you wrong. Let it be natural. Let it be intelligent and entertaining. Let it be unfiltered. With Ricky Bo and Bill Colarulo every weekday from 2 to 6 p.m.
Make the switch. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Hey, it's Kenny Sargent with Speed Freaks, and are you still paying full price for gas? Well, stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use the limited time promo code CONNECT and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. Listeners are making $200 to $300 a year just from buying the gas they already needed. Don't wait. Download the free Upside app now and use the promo code CONNECT to redeem your 25 cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code CONNECT. Look, at first, I thought it was too good to be true, but it's totally legit. Plus, you can cash out anytime. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using promo code CONNECT. That's promo code CONNECT to redeem your 25 cent per gallon bonus. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, it's Ricky Bo. Come hang with me this Thursday, July 10th from 7 to 9 p.m. at Bistro on Bridge in Phoenixville. We'll talk all things baseball. We'll enjoy some ice-cold Coronas and give away great prizes, including tickets to sit in Ricky Bo's row. Grab $5 Corona Extra bottles and $5 Modelo Especial drafts while you're there. Don't miss the fun. Meet me and the Fanatic crew this Thursday at Bistro on Bridge, presented by Corona, the official cerveza of Major League Baseball.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Nothing
Nothing says summer like the taste of a classic Rocket Pop. And now it's at Rita's. New Rocket Pop Ice is a refreshing flavor inspired by the iconic red, white, and blue Ice Pop. Enjoy it in a Rocket Pop Ice Blender drink or stacked high in our 5-layer gelati for a burst of fun in every bite. Don't forget to add new firecracker glitter topping for an extra explosion of flavor. But hurry, Rocket Pop Ice is only at Rita's for a limited time.
Be cool, go to Rita's. Be cool, eat a Rita's.
This is Kincade and Salciunas, Philadelphia Sports Talk. 97.5 The Fanatic.
So we're going to talk some playoff rotation here coming up. I was just telling Johnny, I had a nice day yesterday. First sub 7-minute mile
that we
had since college out in me yesterday.
Wow.
It was humid. I'm trying to get back into running. I promised myself after college, because we had to run timed miles for the baseball team, which is the dumbest thing in the world.
But when they run you under what? Would they go you under? Would be under 10
for a mile? Our line was 6 minutes and 30 seconds.
For baseball?
Every player on the team.
Why?
You tell me.
That
it was the dumbest thing in the world.
That makes no sense.
Shout out to Washington College. I don't think they do that anymore down there.
They used to in baseball be 10 minutes at the major league level.
Yeah, I mean,
they used to do a 10-minute mile.
That would have been nice. And they woke us up at like 5:30 in the morning.
A 10-minute mile,
terrible.
You should be able to do.
Yeah, in your
sleep. You should be able to do that.
But I never understood it for baseball players, especially pitchers, because you're not running all that much.
Why in the world would you do that?
Yeah, no, I don't know. But the Phillies, I don't believe they have a timed mile, so that's not going to be a requirement for being in the postseason rotation. I wonder, and we asked this before the break, Jesus Lazardo, if he was to start a postseason game tomorrow, let's say it's October, whatever, and the Phillies have a game, and you were going with him, what is your thought process going into that game? Is it, we've got this guy who has major upside in any given start, but we also have this guy who has had these weird blips on the radar this year where he could give up 8 or 11 or 12, and it's just like, who are we getting? I wonder how much confidence there is that we have an idea who Jesus Lazardo is as a starter.
Okay, here's where I'm going to try to give you confidence if let's say they needed it.
Okay.
Let's say something happened and Lazardo had to be one of those guys. I'm going to give you a reason for great confidence. How about this?
Love that.
All right. 7 innings against the Dodgers. No earned runs. Let me see here for you. I'll give you another playoff team. 6 innings against the Cubs, another first-place teams. No earned runs.
He's done it against the Cubs twice, I think.
Let me see here if I'll give you another type playoff teams. That Milwaukee start was scary as hell, so we hopefully won't fit them. 6 innings against the Cubs, 1 earned run. 6.2 innings against the Mets, no earned runs. The playoff teams in the National League, except for those Milwaukee Brewers if they're there, he's been wild.
Yeah.
His ERA is like 0.3.
Kind of the opposite of like where the Phillies offense has gone, yeah?
Yeah, it's been wild. So, I mean, I just don't know what it's about, like what happened in that. And I told you, if you had a chance to hear, and I'm sure Ricky will talk about it more on Unfiltered, those weird starts, like, it's the 5 earned runs against Cincinnati. I don't even think that 4 earned runs against Miami was horrendous.
No, but it just was a middle-of-the-road start, which you don't expect based on his first month and change here.
The Milwaukee 12 and the 8 against Toronto.
Yeah.
That was just crazy. That was just a crazy blip on the radar.
It was. And I'll talk in a second about that, the hand positioning, the glove positioning, all of that, and what I think is going on, like the series of events that led to some issues for Jesus Lazardo. But first, I do want to give out our first Wendy's gift card. But, Johnny, I need you to give me a number.
I'm going to go off the board. How about 7?
All right, caller number 7, 610-632-0975 will win our first $50 gift card to Wendy's. Wendy's has $1 soft drinks, any size, all breakfast long. Coke, Sprite, strawberry Fanta, whatever you want. Any size soft drink for $1, got to be Wendy's. It is a Wendy's Thursday here. It's also a Schefter Thursday, and he will join us coming up at 7:55 as you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN and WPEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios. We're powering possibilities. So the Lazardo thing, he thought he was tipping pitches in those back-to-back starts where he against the Brewers and the Jays where he gave up a bunch of runs. He was just getting shelled. And to cover for that, he raised his hands a little bit so that you can't pick up from either the first base coaching position or runners on base what pitch he was throwing. He was worried that he was tipping pitches because his grip was visible in his glove. So you raise your hands a little bit. But even a slight tweak to your set position there changes how your arm releases, how you get into your either windup or your set or anything like that. And it's more the set because that's runners on base. But it can just slightly change everything, and a little tick off in mechanics. These guys have to be able to hit spots on a dime at the major league level. You miss by 2-3 inches here and there, and it's the difference between, hey, he's fouling that ball off or he's roping it in the gap. So the change led to some mechanical imbalances for Lazardo that maybe he had not gone through in his career because he hasn't had the trouble with pitch tipping before. So that's what it was. He made a change to cover for the pitch tipping. That change led to some slight mechanical differences, and it took him a little time to adjust to find the median. And maybe he has settled into that. This is another thing where I'm not ready to say one way or another, oh, Lazardo's going to be the guy he was for the first 2 months. But he looks much, much better.
He does.
So
it's
I feel
fun to see.
I'll tell you, I feel good. If Jesus Lazardo was starting a postseason game, and remember, he's not starting over Wheeler, Sanchez, or Suarez. So if he's your fourth postseason starter, I feel good that you're able to win consistently with him in that spot.
And remember, though, what we've seen out of Jesus Lazardo, we've seen erraticism like that out of Ranger Suarez, too.
Yeah, we have.
Just last year. So we don't know what the second half brings. We don't know what kind of mayhem awaits us. There's going to be some wild stories that are going to come about.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't expect the wheels to fall off somebody, but we don't know what's going to happen. So we got to be prepared for it all.
So what are your thoughts on that on the phone line, on the text line, 610-632-0975? Who is Jesus Lazardo to you as a pitcher right now? Where's your confidence level in him? You could tell me that I do not trust this guy to start a postseason series because he's too erratic, and I would cede you that point. You could tell me I'm very comfortable with him starting a postseason game because of all the stuff he's done this year in his great starts and those numbers you just gave us, Johnny, about him against NL postseason opponents, and I would cede you that point. So I can go either way on this one.
Right.
I need you to tell me where you're at because I'm interested on where the fan base stands on this. What do we have on the text line there, Gunner?
No name on this one, but he says, I love Lazardo. He's been overall really good this season. Does not give up a lot of home runs, and he has a lot of swing and miss stuff, which is useful come playoffs. The question I have, though, if he's the fourth starter or Nola's the fourth starter, can either of them be viable in the bullpen?
I don't know. Why Nola's the one that I can't
see in the pen?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't believe Nola's going to the pen. I don't believe that's even I don't believe you ask Aaron Nola, your 7-year mega starter. I don't believe that you in any way are saying, hey, Aaron, go to the pen. I don't believe that's happening.
I don't think so either. But I don't know. He's not in the playoff rotation right now, so he'll have to earn his way back into that when he does come back, and we'll see what he looks like. I do, for gut feeling, Lazardo feels like the more likely option to be able to throw out of the bullpen.
Sure.
But that may also be a familiarity thing, right? We've seen Nola here as a starter for a decade, and Lazardo just got here this year. So we feel a lot more ingrained in the idea that Aaron Nola is a starting pitcher. Meanwhile, Lazardo is this guy where we're not locked in on him yet. It's just he's this nice acquisition. We're not tied to him being in the rotation. I think it's this problem that a lot of people can't imagine Nola throwing out of the bullpen. And maybe that's for good reason.
I don't believe they would even – I don't believe it's even going to be considered.
Now, let's say it is Lazardo, Sanchez, Suarez, and obviously Zach Wheeler. Of those four guys, 3 of them are left-handed.
That bothers me.
Talk to me about why.
I guess just unconventional?
I don't know necessarily.
Not used to seeing – a team going, because most playoff series, the fourth starter is just like the Bailey Falter in nowadays. So it's very rare that you'd see a team go 3 lefties.
It is.
In fact, I can't even remember it.
Here's what I will say. It's matchup dependent, so it's not inherently bad. I can't tell you right now because at this point in the season, we have not started to look at playoff seeding or anything like that yet.
Okay.
We haven't even hit the All-Star break. But if the Phillies right now and their track record this year against left-handed starting pitching were facing a rotation of 4 lefties in the postseason, I would feel bad about that series because they just haven't been able to hit lefties remotely to the level they've hit right-handed pitching.
Okay.
And that's partially lineup construction and everything like that. Your big-time power bats, the few that you do have are lefties. So I can't say necessarily like 3 lefties in the rotation is a bad thing because if you run into a team like yours that struggles against left-handed pitching, it could be a benefit. It's all matchup dependent.
Well, who are you going to run into? Dodgers?
Yep.
Cubs? Mets?
Yeah.
Are any of those teams going to struggle against lefties?
I have to look at the splits because off the top of my head, I don't know where those teams are.
You know,
I'm just saying, like, I understand why people get a little nervous with 3 lefties to just 1 righty. And if you face a team that, on the other hand, crushes lefties, that could make you nervous for a postseason series. I'm just saying it's not inherently bad for that to happen because, hell, it could be a tough matchup for certain teams. It is for your team.
Okay, Dodgers are the best team in the National League versus lefties.
Okay.
The Cubs are the second best team in the National League versus lefties.
Love that.
By the way, the Phillies are the 3rd.
Are they really?
Yeah.
I think a big part of that is probably Kyle Schwarber almost on his lonesome because you have a guy that's one of the better hitters in baseball, if not
That's
the best.
interesting to me.
Lefty,
Phillies
lefty.
are the 3rd.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Mets struggle against lefties. Right now, though, the best team. Well, do you go by OPS or not?
I would go by average.
Okay, if we go by average, teams with the best batting average versus lefties this year. Cubs. Okay?
Yep.
Cubs are second in the National League. Phillies are 6th. Dodgers are 7th.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
So maybe, and that's an exercise in, hey...
Dodgers are 2 points lower than the Phillies. So, I mean, maybe it's... The Mets are 236 versus lefties.
What you just did there was very important. Not just for the conversation we're having right now, but for the perspective on the Phillies. I think we finally reached the point in the season, and this is really like post-All-Star break, where these numbers start to mean something.
Oh, wait. Let me. I maybe made a mistake there. No, I didn't. Phillies are 5th. Dodgers are 6th. Cubs are 8th.
Okay. I mean,
Mets are 14th in baseball.
Yeah, so you look at that and you say maybe we need to start peeking around to other numbers around baseball to give us a true
So
perspective.
lefties wouldn't be as big a disadvantage as you think it would be getting out of the National League.
At least from average. And that's just my whole point is you don't know until you see the matchup if that's inherently a bad thing. So don't let that scare you off too much if that is indeed how the Phillies approach it. But we've still got a long way to go until we start worrying about the playoff rotation. Coming up next, this is a topic that Johnny brought us yesterday that we didn't get a chance to get to. Got a little busy because the Phillies had a terrible game, and we were talking Rob Thompson versus Dave Dombrowski. But starting pitching, winning you postseason games, series, and a championship might be a myth. We'll hear some numbers from John Kincade on that coming up next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philadelphia Union Soccer.
Damiani approaches the ball with his left, thunders it in to the right of the keeper, Gall, who got caught in his tracks. Damiani gets a perfect start for the Union on a penalty.
The games are here.
Oh, there's a man alive. It's Aliu. Stopped by Blake. Brick wall. Blake says no. Right at the 6 from point blank range to stop Aliu.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, we get a night off from local baseball tonight, but it returns tomorrow at San Diego, and live betting is better than ever on the BetParx app. BetParx game combos are awesome. You get player performances and more on the BetParx app. Plus, BetWire is now live right inside the BetParx app. Think TikTok, but for people that love sports betting more than dance tracks. BetWire is the all-new sports betting live feed right inside the BetParx app. Videos, hot takes, game predictions, more from sports betting content creators all across the country. You can scroll a little, you can tail a pick with a simple tap and and get fired up with BetWire. It's the live sports betting content feed right inside the BetParks app. Plus, check out new games on the BetParks app like Huff and More Puff, the Flintstones, Money Horse. These are some of the games you can play on the new casino users. You can get up to $1,000 in casino bonus back. Check out betparks.com for all the info. You got to be 21, Pennsylvania, Jersey, Michigan, or Maryland. Should you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay out via virtual prepaid card within 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
My dad Len always says, the minute you get in a rideshare, buckle up.
And my son Jordan always says, the minute you get in a rideshare accident, first seek medical attention and then call us. This is Len Lundy.
And I'm Jordan Lundy of Lundy Law. My dad and I hope we'll never meet you because of an accident, but if we do, we're here for you.
Remember our name, Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers.
Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit LundyLaw.com.
Guys, summer's heating up, but if you're running out of steam, it might not be the weather. This is Dr. Avidan Appel from Iron Mountain Men's Health. If you're struggling with low testosterone or erectile dysfunction, we offer custom treatments that work. Over 95% of our patients see success, even when other options have failed. Feel stronger all summer long, in the boardroom, the bedroom, and on the field. Your peak potential awaits. Visit IronMountainMen'sHealth.com. Iron Mountain Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health.
Baseball season is in full swing, and we have you covered. All the Phillies conversation, analysis, and expert interviews you need are right here. Philadelphia's source for breaking sports news. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. Coming up at 10, Mike Missanelli. This is Philadelphia Sports Talk with Kincade and Salciunas. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The 7 a.m. hour of Kincade and Salciunas is brought to you by the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the BetParks app and play all your favorite casino games. BetParks has a great offer for new users. Got to be 21, Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is going to be a really interesting segment because something that has been talked about since I can remember when it comes to postseason baseball, John Kincade believes that he has disproven this as a myth. And
in recent history.
Yes. And here's what I will say as we set up this conversation on pitching in October and how much it can help you win. Baseball has changed in philosophy over the past 10, 15 years. We've seen it with the chase of launch angle and velocity and the way that people approach the game. It's different. And there are these different pockets in every sport where the philosophy changes. We're seeing the Eagles potentially put the NFL through one with what they did with the rushing game this past year. Not something we haven't seen in football history, but something we hadn't seen recently. So it is certainly, like, I'm open to the possibility that this is an untrue or flawed statement when I say that starting pitching is what wins in October. But we will get into that coming up because Johnny has some numbers on that from recent years and recent postseasons. I do want to check back in on our text line, though, because I know we've had a couple people chiming in on our Phillies conversations. First, Bryce Harper. Does yesterday say to you, he is back? Or are you waiting to see more? And if so, what is that line? And on the Jesus Lazardo conversation, who is he to you as a starting pitcher right now? A great day from him yesterday. And more often than not, when he's gone to the mound, he has given the Phillies what they need to win ball games. But the days that he
4
doesn't,
out of 15. 4 out of 15 he is not.
yeah, the days and those
11
ones,
out of 15 he has.
it's not like it's 4 earned runs, 5 earned runs, 4 earned runs.
He's 70% of the time he's given them exactly what they wanted. Wouldn't you want that from like your fourth starter?
Well, if 70% of the time I went to a restaurant, they gave me a great meal, like 5-star dinner, and the other 30% of the time they gave me crap on a plate.
No. You got to think of it this way: is you got to go. They're not. It's a fourth starter,
Yeah.
so you're not heading to DePaul's table or Pietro's.
Yeah, but
or
if
Fleming's.
McDonald's gives me or a Wendy, like somewhere else gives me a bad meal, I'm not going back. But Wendy's
that's why
never
you're going
does
to Wendy's.
that.
That's why you're going to Wendy's.
Yes.
That's why you stopped going to those other places.
But it's
Wendy's is the one starter.
But it's been so egregiously bad.
It
when
has been
he's been bad that it's hard to lock down exactly who I think this guy
Well, then,
is.
to me, it's honestly, he's been egregiously bad. But it's almost like we're watching Aaron Nola again. Like where you're dealing with the Aaron Nola stuff.
Kind of. He's been more good than the typical Aaron Nola up and down
And he's
season,
been
I think.
but he's been more bad than the Aaron Nola bad starts. Aaron
Yeah.
Nola's not that bad.
Well,
Aaron Nola's not 8 earned runs, 12 earned runs. Aaron Nola's not that either.
he had one of those 8 earned. I forget what it was. It might have been
but
against
it was
St. Louis.
an anomaly
Yeah.
with Aaron Nola.
So what do we have
crazy.
on the text line on these conversations, Brandon?
We got Joe the Cynic checking in, saying the ones that are saying Harper's back after one game are the same ones that blame the Phillies' struggles on missing Stubbs and not having fun anymore.
Oh, jeez.
So just putting too much in like
Are
the
people
vibe
still
stuff?
doing the Stubbs stuff?
No. I have
hope
not.
not.
I have not seen
Has that ship
anymore.
sailed? For God's sakes.
The ship will come back when he comes
September
up.
1st?
Yeah, September call-ups when he's back on this team. It may come back, but I have not seen that recently. Now, what have you seen recently when it comes to starting pitching in the postseason or just pitching in general?
You made a statement the other day, and I write it down. And much like I do working with Andrew, I try to listen to my partners. And what I try to do is I write stuff down because sometimes listening is harder for me. So if I hear something, I go, that's interesting. Let me research it. Let's go back, and we'll make that a topic later. You were bringing up the other day about the starting pitching and how that can carry the Phillies to a World Series title. And this starting pitching, we haven't seen anything like it, and it's pretty awesome. We saw an era of Phillies baseball where we thought that starting pitching was going to be what carried them to titles, and it didn't.
2010, 2011.
In fact, 2008 may have been their weakest starting pitching, and that's the year they won. I witnessed it up close and personal I witnessed 3 Hall of Famers in my sports talk radio career, up close and personal, and watched the Braves win 1. Because I don't believe that's the formula to win. So I'm biased against that. So I just went back and got you a few numbers to look at things. Okay, so in 2024, if we just go back to last year, the Yankees and the Dodgers meet in the World Series. So they're the National League and American League champions. They were 4th and 12th in pitching last year.
Now, are we talking regular season or postseason?
All season long.
Gotcha.
They're 4th and 12th in pitching.
Know where we're at.
They were 1st and 3rd in hitting. They were the runners-up to them were 5th and 10th in pitching last year. And they were 6th and 12th in hitting. So where the difference is the pitching the pitching was right there. In fact, the pitching actually, the runners-up had better starting pitching than they did averaging out than they did, but the hitting was distinctly different. The bats won.
Right.
The year before, the Rangers and the Diamondbacks. Now, this is an anomaly.
Yes.
Rangers and the Diamondbacks were 23rd and 24th in pitching. It was the worst starting pitching matchup, worst pitching staffs matchup ever to meet in a World Series in the modern era.
Yeah.
Ever. But they were 3rd and 22nd in hitting. Just to think how bad the Diamondbacks were and that they beat the Phillies, it's
I don't
painful.
want to even think about it anymore, but fair point.
The runners-up were 7th and 9th in pitching, and they were 7th and 8th in hitting. They didn't win. Now, how about this? Last 10 years, teams with the better bullpen have won 8 of the 10 World Series titles. Teams with the better starting ERA have won 4 of the 10 World Series titles.
So bullpen more important than starters.
Twice as important. in the last 10 World Series. Bullpen ERA, and that would seem to tell you that the Phillies are sunk by that number.
Unless they make major changes at the trade deadline.
And we see a shift in performance.
Right, exactly.
Which, by the way, can still happen.
It could.
But I'm just telling you is bullpen has been far more important.
So this would floor like my high school teachers. But I did the research on this as well. I looked up the numbers that I thought you looked at. So I knew where you were coming with this, and you're right. I'm going to tell you coming up next that we had this conversation about 6 months ago. This exact conversation, but not the same team.
Interesting.
We'll talk about that coming up next. And speaking of that team that I'm going to bring up, we're going to get into a little bit of football talk because Chris Canty of ESPN, he's on the right side of history with this one.
Resident Super Bowl champion, Chris Canty.
I loved what he had to say about your quarterback, though. Eagles fans, you're going to want to hear this coming up next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Harper breaks out. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update, and it's brought to you by Groundworks, your expert for basement waterproofing and foundation repair since 1997. Book your free inspection at groundworks.com. The Phillies bounced back in a major way yesterday and avoided the sweep by the Giants with a 13-0 win. The story of the game, though, was the bats came alive. Bryce Harper recorded his first 4 extra base hit game of his career, including his 10th home run yesterday. Kyle Schwarber also went yard for the 29th time this season. He's currently on pace to become the second player in team history to have a 50-plus home run season, joining Ryan Howard in 2006. The most impressive thing about yesterday, though, was that every starter in the lineup came through with an RBI. On the mound, Jesus Lazardo went 7 innings, did not allow a run on 3 hits. Phil's have an off day today and then begin a 3-game series against the Padres on Friday. The Sixers continue their Summer League action tonight when they face the San Antonio Spurs and their Summer League squad in Vegas. Tip-off for that game's at 9 p.m. Don't expect to see VJ Edge come out there. He's expected not to play in his 3rd straight game due to a left thumb sprain. He'll be reevaluated on Saturday. This update was also brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's has $1 soft drinks, any size, all breakfast long. Coke, Sprite, strawberry Fanta, whatever you want. Any size soft drink for $1. It's got to be Wendy's. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Terms apply. I'm Brendan Gunn, and you're listening to the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
What's happening, Philadelphia? Andrew DeCecco here, Birds Insider for 97.5 The Fanatic. Be sure to tune in every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. for Early Birds, hosted by yours truly. You can always expect smart, insightful, and authentic content on all things Eagles and non-Eagles related topics. Only real, informative, and comprehensive analysis. Catch you over the airwaves Saturday for another edition of Early Birds right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
It's time. Time for the pro to get everything for the entire job, all from one partner. To get access to over 3 million products, including many products you won't find in our stores. It's time to get delivery on your schedule or next day on over 50,000 products. And time to get dedicated support on the job site or in our stores. From ordering to planning, we've got you. One partner, any job, all in. Ask about all we can now do at the Pro Desk. The Home Depot Pro, it's about time.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken.
Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Mike Quick, former wide receiver of the Philadelphia Eagles and now color analyst for the team. This year, TripAdvisor named Philly one of America's top destinations. Well, that's something I've known for a long time. When I retired as an Eagle in 1991, I could have moved anywhere, but I stayed here in the city of brotherly love, where I built my life and a second career. For me, it's the history, the people, and the passion that makes this place so special. That makes me proud to call it home.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is Philadelphia's station for breaking sports news. Powered by Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com.
That's LundyLaw.com.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
This is Kincade and Salciunas, Philadelphia Sports Talk. 97.5 The Fanatic.
That conversation we were just having, Johnny, the numbers, undeniable. Starting pitching, it doesn't exactly win you games in October lately, or at least win you World Series
as
in
often
October.
as other things.
As often
you
as
want to have the better
offense or bullpen.
Offense or bullpen.
Now, I will tell you, we've had this conversation before, and we were both on it, and we had to argue with Andrew Salciunas, who's normally in this seat. I'm Connor Thomas filling in for Andrew Salciunas.
We enjoy doing that, though.
Yeah, no, it's always fun, and it was a fun discussion with the 24-25 Eagles Super Bowl winning team.
Okay.
Because I remember talking with him and with you ahead of that game against the Pittsburgh Steelers when A.J. Brown came out and brought up that the passing game needs to improve. And the argument was, if you're running the ball so well, why in the world do you need to develop the passing game? And the thought process that people in favor of the passing game evolving had and may still have is, well, look at the NFL, right? You can win regular season games by running the football, but at the end of the day, when it comes to the postseason, it feels like the better passing offenses, the quarterbacks who can put their team on their back when it matters most, are the teams that end up hoisting Lombardis.
And we found out on February the 9th that the Eagles, to win a Super Bowl, needed that passing game.
They did.
Because they couldn't run.
Well, the run was stopped, and they had
it was shut down.
They had the ability to do both, right? So they had the ability. They ran heavily in the postseason, in games against the Commanders and games against the Rams, the Packers. So you could win.
But they couldn't against the Chiefs.
Right.
The Chiefs literally had a game plan saying Saquon Barkley will not beat us. So they needed to use the passing game, and then they torched them.
Yes, and they were able to do both of those things, which is why we wanted to see it. But I'll be honest with you, the rushing game got the Eagles a lot further last year, basically on its lonesome, than I thought it could in the modern NFL. So there are times where you can see a trend, and a certain team does something so well that trend almost goes out the window. I wonder, is this starting rotation good enough to be the Phillies' Saquon Barkley? Is it enough where you could say, yeah, passing is the focal point of this league, but we're so good at this other aspect that it can buck that trend?
No, because you got to score runs to win. No,
I know it's not the only
No, because the other teams that you play in the postseason are going to get Wheeler out, are going to get Sanchez out, are going to get Suarez out, and you're going to need 9, 7, 10 outs from a bullpen.
Yeah,
and you don't have that ability.
No,
so you're going to have to score runs.
And the Eagles' defense was also number one. What can you point to on the Phillies that's also at the top of their game, other than the starting rotation?
They don't have the 1-2 punch. This team doesn't have that 1-2 punch, Gunner, as you point out. This team doesn't have that. This offense is honestly really weak this year.
No, I'm.
It just is punchless because it doesn't have the pop. But we may see that come. We may go through them. We may be there in late July and August and go, wow, this has been a home run barrage. This team they've woken up.
Yeah.
We may see that. I'm not expecting it's going to. I expect it to get better. I don't expect it to be that.
I forget if it was last year or the year before, but the Phillies had questions about their power, right? Yeah, it had to have been last year because last year was the we're going to slug year from Rob Thompson. And then all of a sudden in August, they had the most home runs in a month in franchise history. And it didn't translate to the postseason to the point where the offense was like strong enough to take them where they need to go. So even that may not be a good enough indicator of what this team's going to be in October because there is still the crapshoot nature of it. I just keep reverting back to even that trend, and that trend is right, and that says a lot about where baseball has gone as far as what's valuable. It also says the fact that bullpens are more valuable recently. I think part of that is starters are going less deep into games in modern baseball, so bullpens
and the
have become
Phillies
more
bullpen
valuable.
may buck that trend. I mean, the Phillies starters may buck that trend,
right?
But the Phillies bullpen is so. The Phillies are going to go to the postseason, probably be the team with the worst bullpen. As if today, thankfully we're not.
Yeah.
If the postseason began today, we don't have to say that, thankfully. But the Phillies would be there with the worst bullpen of any of the teams going to the party.
Yeah. And that's not acceptable.
You're not winning a World Series with that.
Which is why bullpen acquisition for smart people, you and I, is the number one thing that they should focus on at the trade deadline.
Yeah, smart people are saying that, as we're saying far and wide.
And B-Gun, there's still plenty of room for you over here if you want to.
I know they need a bullpen arm. I'm just saying if they're walking the tightrope, power bats would come in handy. Get your 1-2 punch that way.
Yeah.
Whatever you say, buddy. Like
Keep doing it. Smart people are talking.
No, both
take notes.
Both of those potential acquisitions would be key for the Phillies. I just look at what the Eagles did this past year, and I heard a bunch of people, national, local media, saying they can't win in the modern NFL running the football as much as they do. And even though Jalen Hurts was awesome in the Super Bowl, they proved that you can win consistently, even at the highest of levels, with a great rushing attack. So, speaking of the Eagles,
yes,
that to some people,
making me smile.
Even though Jalen Hurts showed up in the Super Bowl, the whole rushing attack and the strength of the roster has had plenty of people questioning Jalen Hurts and where he ranks individually as a quarterback. Well, Chris Canty of ESPN was asked about Jaden Daniels and if he is above Jalen Hurts in quarterback rankings. We've seen some people do that.
Yes.
I think you're really going to like Chris Canty's response. Take a listen.
No, I don't co-sign on it. And I love Jaden Daniels as a player. Don't get me wrong. I think he's trending toward being a top 5 player in this league. Another strong season like his rookie year, and he's going to be there. But putting him head and shoulders above Jalen Hurts is just misguided. It really is. When you consider the entire body of work for Jalen Hurts, he's an absolutely phenomenal football player. And I get it. I was one of the people that was disrespecting him last offseason because of the stink that they had around that team after the 2023 year. This year, all of those questions, they went away. It's over. He answered them in the affirmative. This guy has proven that he is a winner. And that is the most important attribute of any quarterback in the NFL.
Chris Canty is dead on there, in my perspective.
And you know what Chris Canty did? Instead of doubling down on bad takes from last summer, he owned it, he ate it, and he changed course.
Yeah.
That I admire. Good job, Chris.
I do as well. Now, it's not just a feel-good, somebody in the national media thinks Jalen Hurts is better than Jaden Daniels conversation. I use that to set up a question.
Okay.
Because I don't think the question that was asked to Chris Canty, if he's co-signing Jaden Daniels as being the better quarterback than Jalen Hurts right now.
Which is a ridiculous conversation right now. The Jaden Daniels, as I said, the number one completion for the Commodes in the NFC title game was by their punter. He got owned in the title game. He was not ready for prime time. To talk about him versus the Super Bowl MVP is atrocious. It means you're not watching games. It means you're just going by like, oh, I think Jaden Daniels is going to be the next greatest thing.
Yeah.
It's what it is. You didn't pay attention.
I don't look at it as atrocious. I don't, because I understand based on the talent that Jaden Daniels seems like he has and the ceiling that it seems like he has as a quarterback. Like
you
if I
saw
just
them play 3 times.
No, I know.
Head to head.
I know. And Jalen Hurts is the better quarterback.
Okay.
And he is the better winner. And he does does have the better team.
So then why would you understand somebody?
Because I think Jaden Daniels is a really good quarterback.
Okay, so do I.
But that's the question here that I want to pose to people. How valid is this conversation? And if you're on the side that John Kincade is on, how big is the gap?
It's a significant gap yet until the young man proves something. He got to prove something. He put up 10 points legitimately till the Eagles put the game away on a Monday Night Football game at the Link. 10. Then when the Eagles were up, I think, and they loosened up and they played prevent defense, then they scored. Then the Eagles were up 14-0, about to go up 21-0 when Jalen Hurts gets speared in the head.
Yeah.
And leaves the game. They were dominating the Commodes and taking them off their home field. That game ends up being totally different. The defense crapped the bed that day. And then in the NFC title game, one quarterback showed up to play, one quarterback got dominated. Again, it's a ridiculous conversation based on the two of what we've seen them. They played 3 times.
If you just look at head-to-head, you're absolutely right. But this is also a guy in Jaden Daniels. And again, let me make this clear.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts, better than Jaden Daniels. I'm very, very comfortable saying that. Like, I will sign on the dotted line.
I'm glad to hear that.
But this is a guy who went on the road as a rookie with a Commanders team that was okay and knocked off the 1 seed in their building.
And Detroit was missing. Detroit was missing how many defensive starters? 6?
They were.
But nobody picked Washington. That we knew that going into the game.
No, I took Washington in the points.
Yes.
On my bet Parks app, but I can show you the bet. I didn't think they'd win the game, though. I'll give you that.
I know why you're saying you're acting the way
it's
you are.
ridiculous. They played 3 times, and Jaden Daniels did nothing.
I'd love to hear from people at 610-632-0975.
Available to play.
I know you don't think it's close. I think a lot of people out there might think it's closer than you do.
And they would argue that he still put up those 5 touchdowns in the second half against that number 1 defense, even though they didn't have C.J. Gardner-Johnson. It's not head-to-head versus Jalen Hurts.
Correct.
It's against that number 1 defense.
Right. So we'll see what the people say on the phone line and the text line. Is this Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts comparison, is that valid at this point? Or is it too early to put that just after his rookie year, Jaden Daniels in the conversation with the Super Bowl MVP? I'm taking Hurts 10 times out of 10. But I don't think it's as crazy of a conversation as you do, John. We'll see what the people have to say.
I think you're crazy.
Maybe I am. And trust me, our listeners will tell me if I am. We'll talk more about that coming up next and some more on the Eagles as we lead into Adam Schefter coming your way at 7:55. If the offense stumbles early, what's going to happen? What will their record be?
Based on what you said yesterday, too.
All right, we'll get into that.
All these notes I take on you. See, I'm always listening.
Yes, you are. John Kincade lays that out for us coming up next on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
We want to hear from you. So text us at 610-632-0975.
You text every day, so why not text us?
Your opinion matters. Shoot us a text at 610-632-0975. Don't want to call? You can always text us.
You've got our direct line, so text us anytime.
On a plane? Text us. On a train? Text us.
At the game? Text us.
Driving a car? Yeah, pull over then text us. In a bar? Text us. 610-632-0975.
97.5 The Fanatic.
If you're looking to buy a diamond, I'm telling you, just count on my friends at Benari Jewelers in Exton and Newtown Square because they want to take the pressure off of you. Because here's the pressure. You know it's going to be one of the bigger expenditures that you make. You know that you're going to ask a lady to marry, or you know that you're going to get your wife those diamond earrings, or maybe a diamond necklace that she's asked for or that she's wanted for a long time. You don't want her ending up with overpriced, cloudy, inferior diamonds. You want her to get the diamond she deserves at Benari Jewelers. You want her to be bragging on you. And they have the highest quality, best cut, most dazzling diamonds, handpicked for brilliance, each one graded by the most reputable gem lab around. And at Benari, they're going to look at like 100 diamonds and they're only going to choose like 5 or 6 that they're willing to put in their showcases because they're very picky. And you can tell when you visit their showrooms. They're going to walk you through the process of buying a diamond, and it's very, very low pressure. And you're going to feel like a diamond expert when you walk out of the room. More importantly, I love it because I feel like I got a partner in gift giving because I can send Christina in, Olivia in. I can say, make a little wish list, put out some gift ideas. I'll go back at a later time, and they'll walk me through the process. I'll pick a perfect gift, and it'll be great. Showrooms in Exton and Newtown Square. I love Benari Jewelers. I've been sending you there. Go to Benari Jewelers. Do it today.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Wendy's has $1, any size, a la carte soft drinks, all breakfast long. Coke, Sprite, strawberry Fanta, whatever you want. Any size soft drink for $1? Gotta be Wendy's. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Exclusions apply.
Demand Rand. Ever think what would happen if you got hurt and couldn't earn a living? How would you survive? You need a lawyer who knows how to win. Don't risk your settlement. Demand Rand.
Call 1-800-90-LEGAL. One accident can take everything. Your paycheck, your security, your future. The insurance company won't look out for you. Rand Spear will fight for the compensation you deserve. Call 1-800-90-LEGAL.
Rocket Pop Ice has landed at Rita's. Enjoy a blast of flavor inspired by the iconic red, white, and blue ice pop. Plus, add our new firecracker glitter topping. Stop by Rita's and try Rocket Pop Ice today.
Be cool, eat up Rita's.
Now's the perfect time to sign up for the MVP newsletter. Receive content specifically tailored to you. Get chances to win exclusive contests. Catch up with on-demand segments from Kincade and Salciunas, The Mike Missanelli Show, and Unfiltered.
What are you waiting for? Head to 975thefanatic.com/newsletter to subscribe now.
This is Kincade and Salciunas, Philadelphia Sports Talk. 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, it's a busier Thursday than normal here on Kincade and Salciunas. We got Adam Schefter joining us coming up at 7:55. It's also a Wendy's Thursday. Let's give out another $50 Wendy's gift card. Caller number, B-Gun, give me one. Any number.
Three. For Bryce Harper. For Bryce Harper, and he's back.
Bryce Harper back. Caller number 3 to the main line right now, 610-632-0975. Wins our second of 4 $50 Wendy's gift cards. Wendy's has $1 soft drinks, any size, all breakfast long. Coke, Sprite, strawberry Fanta, whatever you want. Any size soft drink for $1, gotta be Wendy's. You can call in now to win that. I also want to check in on our text line because we're just having that conversation. John was very adamant that it is not a fair comparison to look at Jaden Daniels and Jaylen Hurts in the same conversation right now. And I guarantee you're not alone. I know we have a couple of texts on this. Is that a valid argument at this point? Or is that an immediate, there's no conversation here, it's Jaylen Hurts? Because I'm taking Hurts, but I think there could be more of a conversation.
He is the Super Bowl MVP.
He is.
He is 2 of the last 3 seasons. He has led the on December 1st. He's been number 1 in the MVP voting, MVP odds on every betting app and in every casino. Like, I can't even believe this people are going to argue this one.
Well, what are the people saying, Brendan?
Devin in Glassboro says talent does not equal production. Daniels over Hurts is a goofy take right now.
Okay, fair. So that's 1 point in your favor there, Johnny. And that's the thing, right? It's totally crazy to me to put him over Jaylen Hurts.
Now, if you want to tell me that you believe in him, I'd buy stock in Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Before the draft, I told you how pissed I was that the Chicago Bears weren't going to draft Jaden Daniels. I wanted the Bears to draft Jaden Daniels to get him out of our division. Mm-hmm. I loved him.
Yeah.
I loved him coming out. I think he's going to be a fantastic quarterback. I don't think he's going to fizzle out. I think he's going to be a guy that is going to be a problem. I said it from day one. But ahead of Jaylen Hurts, it's absurd.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Just to me.
Right now.
Right now.
Could it be 3 years from now? He could be ahead of Jalen Hurts. Who knows?
Right. But to me, if you're having like a Caleb Williams, Jalen Hurts conversation, you're insane. There's no argument at all to that. The Jaden Daniels thing, at least I can look at it and say, okay, he looks the part. Like the eye test, he passes. He took his team to the NFC Championship game last year, a mark that I did not think they were going to be able to get to with that roster. And he was the big reason why they were able to make it there. And that, to me, is enough that I don't immediately write off somebody asking that question. I'll tell you they're wrong if they have Jaden Daniels over Jalen Hurts. But if you're asking the question, I don't think it's completely out of left field. But that's just me. And maybe I'm not giving enough respect to Jalen Hurts on that front. So we'll continue to get your thoughts on that on the phone line and the text line. Again, 610-632-0975 is how you can join in on the show today. Now, I'm a man of patience, and I was last year with this Philadelphia Eagles team. I gave them a month, and then they hit the bye week, and then everything changed. And that may have just been lucky timing for me that I put that on. But you're looking at the first 4 weeks and the offensive production this year.
Yeah, and what you talked about yesterday, you said, if the offense, you expect the offense to stumble, and I wrote it down, you expect them to stumble in the first 4 weeks.
Yeah, there could be some clunkiness.
And I'm telling you right now that if the offense stumbles in the first 4 weeks, the Eagles will be no better than 2-2.
Okay.
The Eagles will be no better than 2-2, but 2-2, because the defense is going to stumble early.
Yeah.
So when you suggested that to me yesterday, I'm like, well, wait a minute here. I'm not giving that grace to the offense. Everybody's back. They won the Super Bowl. They dominated. They blew people out. The Cowboys and the Rams at home, the Chiefs and the Bucs on the road. You are absolutely going to have to outscore the Chiefs and the Bucs on the road. The Bucs have one of the better offenses in the NFC. The Chiefs score a ton of points at Arrowhead. The Cowboys and the Rams, the Cowboys can put up points. The Rams gave you all you could handle in the NFC divisional round at home. If this offense is not ready for prime time in the first month, to me, that's absolutely unacceptable. Unacceptable. Because the defense is the one who needs the grace. The defense is the one with all the new starters on it, with all the people being added to it. And the defense is going to need the offense to pick it up because you're facing 4 teams that can put points on the board. Dallas is not going to be a great team, but they're going to score points this year. The Buccaneers are going to score points. The Chiefs and the Bucs at home are both going to score points. Rams, yeah, they move the ball on the Eagles. I'm telling you right now, if we're worried about the offense being shaky in the first month, you are not going to be better than 2-2. And I think it's unacceptable to go into the season even thinking that. Why should the offense be anything better than expected to put up what it did last year, at least 25, 27 a game?
Now, that's what they did over the course of the season.
Why shouldn't they be expected to do that? Offense in football is coming back more intact as the defending champs and right now completely healthy. Why should we be talking about them sputtering or expecting them to be clunky?
You have a new offensive coordinator. We're going to talk later on in the show because you have an interesting topic you want to bring up about how Rob Thompson might make you a little bit worried about Kevin Petula.
Which is crazy. I saw that they were having lunch last week, and it made me totally nervous. I'm just teasing.
I'm very intrigued into that, but here's what I'll ask you.
Hey, Kevin, it's going to be really good for you. Get some ideas for you.
Are the Eagles' first 4 games of this season tougher than their first 4 last year?
Yes.
Easily. What was their record through the first 4 games last year?
2-2. 1-2. Yeah, 2-2. Almost 1-3.
So they're going to play a tougher stretch of schedule and maybe come out with the same record that they had to start last year's Super Bowl year. I don't know why that's too much of a worry for people.
Because the rest of the schedule is heavier.
I understand.
The whole schedule is heavier. If we were just talking about the beginning of the year schedule being tough, that would be one thing. I think the first month is brutal. I agree. I think it's a brutal start to.
But do you expect them to play in the preseason? Like that was a big part of the equation last year. They don't play in the preseason. They have to get that rhythm down.
I do not.
You admitted yesterday you like Nick Sirianni's preseason plan now. So if it works.
Change your wording. No, I don't. I don't. No, I am telling you that I was wrong. It has worked, and I told people that I didn't think it would work.
So don't you have to go into the first 4 games with that same mindset then?
No, because last year the offense
you got to expect it to work afterwards.
No, because the offense sucked last year out of the gate.
Right.
With Kellen Moore, who is 100 times more qualified stepping in game 1 last year than Kevin Patullo is this year.
But they were able to fix it. And it was not Kellen Moore who made the fix. It was
the players demanding.
The players that are still on this team.
Demanding.
Right. So
and
then demand again. I don't know. But all I'm hearing is if this team with a tougher schedule starts the way they started their Super Bowl year, like I'm okay with that. And maybe that's short-sighted.
Because the rest of the year is tougher. And honestly, now that you've won a Super Bowl with that team, the standard changes.
The standard.
You were coming off of 2023 where they were a dumpster fire, which thankfully the mayor didn't give in to the demands, and we got the dumpsters cleaned up. The dumpster fire, we don't expect that anymore. These are Super Bowl champs, different standards.
You make a fair point, but on the coming off the bad year, but the standard has not changed for me. And we'll talk about that later on in the show. But coming up next, we'll talk to our pal Adam Schefter, who will answer a couple questions. You brought up the Bucs early on in the season. They could be without a big-time player when they match up with the Eagles. And we've got some fun NFL offseason stuff to get into. Schefty comes your way next here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The bats come alive. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update, and it's brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's has $1 soft drinks, any size, all breakfast long. Coke, Sprite, Strawberry Fanta, whatever you want. Any size soft drink for $1, it's got to be Wendy's. Limited time only at participating Wendy's. Terms apply. The Phillies bounced back in a major way yesterday and avoided the sweep by the Giants with a 13-0 win. The story of the game was the bats came alive. Bryce Harper recorded his first 4 extra base hit game of his career yesterday, including his 10th home run of the season. Kyle Schwarber also went yard for the 29th time this season and is currently on pace to become the second player in team history to have a 50-plus home run season, joining Ryan Howard in 2006. The most impressive thing about yesterday, though, was every starter in the lineup that came through with an RBI. On the mound, Jesus Lazardo went 7 innings, didn't allow a run on 3 hits. The Phillies have a day off today before heading out to San Diego for a 3-game series over the weekend. The Sixers, they continue their Summer League action tonight when they face the San Antonio Spurs, and their Summer League squad tip-off for that game is tonight at 9. Don't expect to see VJ Edge come out there for a 3rd straight game. He's still dealing with that left thumb sprain. He'll be reevaluated on Saturday. This update was also brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. The Mercedes-Benz Dream Days are back with offers-owned vehicles like the 2025 E-Class CLE Coupe, C-Class, and EQE Sedan. Hurry now through July 31st. Learn more at MBUSA.com/dream. I'm Brendan Gunn, and you're listening to the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Vacation? Business trip? Don't worry. You can still hear all your favorite Fanatic shows no matter where you go. The 97.5 The Fanatic app. Philly sports in the palm of your hand. Listen to our 24/7 live stream. Get up to the minute Eagles, Sixers, Phillies, Flyers, and Union commentary.
Head to Google Play or the Apple App Store now and download our free app.
Hey guys, Andrew, school's out. I love that for you kiddos. What are you going to do with the stacks of your kids' A-plus papers, artwork, jerseys from the year? You're probably going to box them up and store them in an out-of-sight space like your basement. Well, your basement needs to be safe and dry so that these things don't get ruined. If your basement is showing any problem signs like condensation, wet floors and walls, musty smells, mold, and rot, Groundworks can help. These problem signs can be an indicator that your home might be due for basement waterproofing. The experts at Groundworks know what works and what doesn't. From wall anchors to vapor barriers, sump pumps, and dehumidifiers, they've seen it all and can do it all. This includes encapsulating your crawl space too and making that a safe space for your valuable belongings and added storage. They'll work with you to find the permanent solution that your basement and crawl space needs to stay dry year-round. It's not worth risking damage to your valuables. I would never want to see my son's artwork get destroyed. Just visit Groundworks.com
them today for a free inspection and a no-pressure quote. Groundworks will inspect your home to find the cause of the problem and fix it once and for all. Groundworks, there's a reason why they're the trusted local experts.
If you are 50 or older, it is recommended that you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. If you're an adult, 19 to 49, with certain underlying medical conditions like asthma, diabetes, chronic heart disease, or COPD, vaccination is also recommended. Talk to your doctor about vaccination today and learn more at lung.org/protect yourself. Furnished by the American Lung Association in collaboration with Pfizer.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise.
Connor Thomas in for Andrew Salciunas alongside John Kincade, Brendan Gunn on the board. You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia. Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. Had to get that in quickly because we've got our pal Adam Schefter joining us now on the Comcast Business Hotline. As always, he's brought to you by Landis Block. Create your very own jaw-dropping backyard paradise online at landisbc.com. Shefty, you had some big breaking news yesterday.
Morning.
In a time of the NFL offseason that's normally a little bit quiet, Tristan Wirfs of the Buccaneers, we're going to start here, has a knee injury. The Eagles played the Buccaneers week 4. So is the expectation for him to be on the PUP list to start the season?
Well, I can tell you this. My guess is it'll be a wait-and-see process, that they see how he is recovering during training camp. They think he could miss, quote-unquote, a few games. Now, if he's placed on the physically unable to perform list in late August on the final roster cutdown situation, if he's placed on PUP, he's out 4 games automatically. So either they'll place him on PUP and he's out 4 games, or they won't place him on PUP, and that would tell you that they expect him back sooner than 4 games. And that's a decision that they'll have to make at that point in time when they see how he's recovering. But again, I say this, it's July 10th, he had the surgery July 8th. Like, to say already that he's going to miss a few games on July 8th, 2 months out, that sounds like a pretty significant cleanup to me. Like, if it was a meniscus, it might be 4 to 6 weeks, and you'd be saying, okay, we think he's going to be back for the start of the season. They didn't say that. So they went in there, they cleaned up some stuff that was there, found some other stuff that was there. It's not an ACL, it's not season ending, it's not long-term, but it's enough that he's going to be a PUP candidate, and that will determine whether or not the all-pro left tackle is out there in week 4 against the Eagles.
I got to tell you that, Adam, I'm about to lose my mind with some of my brethren here in Philly that are expecting the Eagles offense to sputter a little bit, to have some bumps in the road with a new offensive coordinator. And I'm thinking to myself, what offense in the NFL has more players returning, more star quality returning, and is the Super Bowl champs coming back? I'm not accepting that there should be a stumble period, a struggle bust period, or anything, because I'm looking at that first month of the schedule. Cowboys and the Rams at home, Chiefs and the Bucs on the road, and saying the offense is going to have to cover for a defense that has a lot of new faces on it.
Yeah, look, I just think they're a good team. When you've got an offense like that, the offensive line is so strong. There are so many weapons. I don't know why there would be a fall-up. And even though there are new faces on the defensive side of the football, I still think it's going to be a strong, tough defense. Like, what are they? I know they lost some parts. You lose Milton Williams. You lose Montez Sweat. You lose some of these guys. Josh Sweat, excuse me. That's going to make a difference. But they got a lot of talent on that side of the football. A lot. And so it may take a little bit of time for it to come together, but it still should be a very good defense in my mind.
Now, speaking of the offense that Johnny brought up there was a debate that we played from one of your coworkers at ESPN. Chris Canty was talking a little bit about the Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts comparison that seems to have popped up a bunch this offseason. To you, Adam, at this point, with Jaden Daniels only having played 1 year of his NFL career, is it fair to talk about those guys and compare them, or is it an easy pick to go Hurts over Daniels?
Well, first of all, I haven't heard any of this talk comparing and contrasting Jalen Hurts and Jaden Daniels throughout the offseason. I don't know where it was about. I don't know what the genesis of it was, and I don't know what the conclusion is. I just view it as two different quarterbacks. You know, Jalen Hurts is a guy that's won the Super Bowl, a guy that has made his mark, a guy that's gotten paid, a guy that you know you can count on. You know, Jaden Daniels, to me, he's the future. He just is. And Jalen Hurts already has accomplished so much, you know, with 2 NFC championships and 1 Super Bowl ring, that I'm not comparing anybody to him. But I will say that when you're looking at this league right now, you know, if you could pick one guy for the future, it might just be Jaden Daniels. It might be him right now. That's how impressive he is. And I don't mean just talent. Like, the way he handles himself and the regard that other players have for him. Again, he still has to go and accomplish everything that Jalen Hurts has, and he hasn't. So we're still a little premature, but I think anybody who sees Washington can easily say, like, this guy is the real deal. Real deal.
I was looking at the reaction to your social media post yesterday when you put up Washington's new throwback uniforms. When they threw back to the uniforms, my problem is the Commanders never wore those uniforms. The Washington Redskins did. And overwhelmingly on your comments, the fans were like, yeah, really nice unis. Give us back our team name. I wonder, has there ever been any discussion within ownership circles or otherwise of going back to the team name that it seems overwhelmingly, and they've even done fan surveys and media surveys in the market, the fans want that.
Yeah, I don't think that they've considered going back to Redskins. I don't think that's going. I know that they've pondered a name change, and the last I heard was that they thought it was just too many name changes. Redskins, Washington football team, Commanders didn't want to change it again, and so that's where they're at now. I don't know. Maybe they'll change that and have a new stadium coming, have to name the stadium maybe, and all that stuff like that. But I haven't heard them considering going back to the Redskins, despite the fact that those uniforms yesterday sure look like the uniforms that the Redskins wore back in the day.
They did.
We're talking to Adam Schefter of ESPN on the Comcast Business Hotline. Now, Adam, we're 2 weeks or under 2 weeks to training camp. I wonder, is there an NFC team out there that you see as a potential contender that not enough people are talking about?
We've written down a team name, both of us, and we're wondering if you're going to say either one of the teams that we've written down.
I think the team that people haven't talked about enough, team that hasn't garnered enough attention, a team that is better than people think, a team that I would actually put in the elite of the NFC teams that nobody's talked about. People talk about San Francisco still, and they have to get back, and I don't see that right now. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think, are an underrated team, despite the Tristan Wirfs injury that we opened this segment with, that people aren't talking about. What did you write down? Which are the two teams that you guys write down?
I said Arizona.
And I said San Francisco.
Because I said nobody's talking about. I do agree with you, though. I find my old college classmate coaching those Todd Bowles, coaching those Tampa Bay Buccaneers, very dangerous. And the way that they've owned the Eagles, they've sort of knocked the Eagles around quite a bit.
I'm telling you, they're a really good football team. Really good. And they are loaded on offense. And, Baker Mayfield has led a resurgence, and he's been really good and strong. And so I don't know that. You know who has the most touchdown passes in the NFL the last 2 years? Talking about great quarterbacks?
Baker.
That's right. And, by the way, they added to that with Emeka Egbuka in the first round, who I was told has looked unbelievable during camp. So now you take Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, they're going to get back from injury, Jaylen McMillan. I was watching NFL Live a couple of days ago, Mina Kimes on there. They were talking about the top 10 running backs, and they said, who is not here? And I'm just telling you what Mina Kimes said. She goes, there's a guy here that you didn't mention that when you watch the tape from week 10 on last year was the best running back in football. That was Bucky Irving, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, he is a monster. He had a great latter half of that year. Now, Schefter, I'm not sure if you've caught up on the latest season of Quarterback on Netflix, but there's something interesting I want your perspective.
I've watched the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
Not the full. Yep, first 2. I'm 2 episodes in.
Love that. I know you're a busy guy, so I'm sure you'll catch up. But the Kirk Cousins story about Atlanta potentially misleading him with the drafting of Michael Penix and him not realizing they were going to do that. Is that something that happens in the NFL? Is that bad practice by the Falcons? What's your take on that situation?
My take on that situation is usually when teams are drafting a quarterback or planning to draft a quarterback, they don't surprise their quarterback. And also, they certainly don't surprise their quarterback in an offseason where they just gave him $100 million guaranteed money. So that's what made that one unusual. And it wasn't usual, is that they just paid this guy. They just opted for this guy. I think they might have called him like while they were on the clock or something like that. Like, I'll just go back to Patrick Mahomes. When the Chiefs were drafting him, they had Alex Smith, who was a pretty good quarterback at that point in time. And the Chiefs were calling Alex Smith all along, letting them know, we got this guy that we love, and we're going to do everything we can to get this guy. We don't want to surprise you, but this is the guy we're targeting in the draft, and they took him. And by the way, like the Saints used to do the same thing with Drew Brees. If there was a guy, like teams have done this, so I think the way that Atlanta handled it was a little bit different than the way other teams have handled it. Everybody does it the way they want, but that's how Atlanta decided. And Kirk Cousins is a pretty smart, genuine, authentic guy, and if he says he feels misled, then he was misled in his mind.
Doesn't surprise me from my 2 decades down there, Adam, that the Falcons sometimes falcon themselves. It's what they do.
Well, again, like I said, I don't think that's the way most teams would have done it, but that's the way they did it.
Yes, it is. Well, we'll get more news as we draw closer to training camp, but we appreciate the time as always, Schefter.
Thanks, Adam,
for joining us, and we'll talk to you
have
next
a great
week.
Thanks for being flexible this week, and we'll talk next Wednesday.
Take care of yourself,
Of course,
buddy.
no problem. We can always be flexible for the great Adam Schefter. There he is on the Comcast Business Hotline, again, brought to you by Landis Block. Go ahead and check them out. You can create your own your very own jaw-dropping backyard paradise online at landisbc.com. Okay, I think I'm crazy now because clearly we got a text.
I don't think you're crazy. I don't think you're crazy.
The Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts thing, Adam completely was just like, yeah, I don't even know how that's a comparison.
I don't know how it's a comparison at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to check back in on that, and we'll react to what Schefter had to say. We're going to talk some Week 4 matchup between the Eagles and the Buccaneers because there are 2 things in there that lend to us thinking about that matchup. Maybe even 3 if you count the Baker Mayfield thing. We also have today's headlines with Brendan Gunn coming up next. So don't go anywhere. And in the 8 o'clock hour, your chance to win another $50 Wendy's gift card. A lot more still to come here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Do you feel unfulfilled?
Gorilla.
Because B Gun
He's saying, that's not I said. I call it vanilla ice cream. I said it's not vanilla. Even though you are from Delco, as I am too, I've learned to pronounce things.
Vanilla.
It's vanilla. It's vanilla ice cream.
It sounds wrong.
You also
it does because you're from Delco.
If you were to say unbelievable, you're also a big unbelievable guy.
You say unbelievable.
Unbelievable. You guys are being unreal.
And you used to shop at the Acme. Like everybody else in Delco, it adds an extra A to
This
Acme.
is Delco on Delco crime right here. Yeah, I love just sitting back here and watching these guys yell at each other.
In Broomall, we had the Acme. And I'd be like, where's the extra A? No wonder I had so many spelling tests went south at St. Annie's.
All right,
you just don't know what you're talking about.
You do.
So the interview with Adam Schefter, there were a couple things that came up that had me thinking about the Week 4 matchup with the Tampa Bay
Now
Buccaneers.
you feel smarter that Adam...
Absolutely.
Yeah,
no, definitely. The Jaden Daniels, Jaylen Hurts thing for sure, but the Tristan Wirfs injury is going to be a potential big one that helps the Eagles if he is on the PUP list and is not available.
Right.
And then Adam brought up the Buccaneers as the NFC team that not enough people are talking about.
I think they're dangerous.
Yeah.
And already we've had tremendous problems with matching up against the Bucs.
That's why it doesn't worry me too much, because this team will never overlook that team. This fan base will never overlook that team, right? We will not go into a Buccaneers game, especially one on the road, and just be like, oh, well, we're better than them. That may be the scariest of the first 4 weeks worth of games, because you just cannot beat that team in that building, it seems like.
Yeah. Baker's a tough stop.
Yeah.
He's a tough stop. I love Baker Mayfield's game.
Yeah, I do
Just
as well.
Love watching him play.
I just think it works out for the Eagles and Eagles fans that it's not a team where we're like, oh, okay, we didn't have to worry about that team, and now we do. There was no chance that when that Buccaneers game gets here in Week 4, we're rolling into that saying no problem.
Well,
everyone's going to be nervous.
Last year, without, you're missing no Lane. It was no Lane, no AJ, right?
No Devontae.
No Devontae.
Didn't Jalen Carter get cramps halfway through that game, too, and couldn't go back out?
Not enough pickle juice.
I'm telling you this right now. If I hear one damn thing, and I'll be at that game, if I hear one damn thing about the Heat, I don't want to hear one whiny thing about the Heat.
It's hot in
You
Florida.
have all year to prepare for this now. I don't want to hear any more whining about how hot it's going to be that day. Deal with it. Suck it up, Buttercup.
Maybe it'll be cloudy and they'll get lucky. Like
yeah,
it
let's
is
hope.
around here
Let's
today.
hope, yes.
It's also time for today's headlines with Brendan Gunn.
Today's headlines with the one and only Brendan Gunn.
Brought to us by the one and only Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers, visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. And last week when the All-Stars came out, the Phillies had a couple of snubs. Ranger Suarez, Christopher Sanchez, Trey Turner, they all did not make the roster. But yesterday, the Phillies organization got a new addition to the All-Star team. Congratulations to Bat Boy. Adam Crognell made the team. Shout out to him. That guy hustles up and down every single time.
Klein College grad.
He's the man.
Yes. Too. So very good.
He's come in and said what's up to us here before.
He's been here. Yeah.
I shot him a message yesterday to congratulate him.
Adam.
Like, it could not have happened to a better, nicer person. So it's not just, he made a nice play on like a Kyle Schwarber foul ball. Also, just a
Plus
great dude.
Another survivor.
Yes.
So that's even better.
Yes, very very deserving. Moving on, we got NBA 2K cover coming out this week, and there's been controversy on both of them. The men's the NBA cover, it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Totally fine, should be.
Next to him,
who's the WNBA?
We'll get to that in a second.
Oh, okay.
Next to SGA, there's two Al Horfords. They AI'd the cover.
What?
And there's two Al Horfords. If you look at it, I'll show you guys during the break. I don't know how it made it through.
That can't be real.
I'll show you. It's two Al Horfords. It's two bald guys. It looks ridiculous. And
That's
then
hilarious.
on the WNBA edition of the cover, it's none other than the most popular player in the sport. Wait. It's her arch nemesis, Angel Reese. A lot of controversy online about it.
Wait a minute.
It's not.
Are you serious?
Yeah, people are ticked off about it. That it's not
Reese
Caitlin
is
Clark.
on the cover? Why?
Yes. It's got the controversy online.
Why is Angel Reese on the cover?
I don't understand that.
What the hell would Angel Reese be on the cover for?
She debuted her first signature
I'm
shoe.
doing the voice.
Yeah,
doing the voice.
Easy on the voice. She debuted her first signature shoe in the picture they used for the cover.
Does the signature shoe go like 1 for 12 shooting?
It gets all the rebounds too.
Oh my gosh. Are you serious?
I don't get that one at all.
I can't. I seriously, I can't believe it.
I mean,
it seemed like a
popular,
layup.
so.
No pun intended for the WNBA, but it seemed like a layup. And they go and get
a layup in the WNBA is not easy. Not easy.
At least not for Angel Reese at times.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, I'll have to see this two Al Horford's thing. We might have to tweet this out.
There's that Instagram reel of where people give you they'll do the sequences of the WNBA games, where it's like the bad sequences, where it's like, here's the worst 1 minute of 40 seconds of basketball you've seen in 2 years. It's some really bad games being played. They're expanding a little too much.
Congrats to SGA. Congrats to Angel Reese, and congrats to two Al Horfords.
Two Al Horfords.
For being on the cover.
And Angel Reese, for whatever reason.
Congrats to them, and great job, Brett and Gunn, on headlines, as always. Coming up next, I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts on this one, Johnny, because I'll just read you the topic that's down on the show sheet right here. Why Rob Thompson makes me worry about Kevin Petullo.
Kevin, I'm glad to be able to give you a little pep talk for the season.
I don't know how these two coincide, but I'm very intrigued to hear your thoughts next.
This should scare you.
Don't go anywhere. We'll discuss it. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
You get an RBI, and you get an RBI, and you get an RBI. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies bounced back in a major way yesterday and avoided the sweep by the Giants. They got a 13-0 win yesterday. The story of the game was the bats came alive. Bryce Harper recorded his first 4 extra base hit game of his career, including his 10th home run of the season yesterday. And Kyle Schwarber also went yard for the 29th time this season. He's currently on pace to become the second player in team history to have a 50-plus home run season. He would be joining Ryan Howard in 2006. The most impressive thing about yesterday, though, was that every starter in the lineup came through with an RBI. On the mound, Jesus Lazardo won 7 innings. He did not allow a run on 3 hits. The Phils have an off day today before beginning a 3-game weekend series to finish out the first half of the season, starting tomorrow against the Padres. The Sixers continue their Summer League action tonight when they face the San Antonio Spurs and their Summer League squad. Tip-off for that game's at 9 p.m. tonight. BJ Edgecombe, do not expect to see him out there. He's going to miss his 3rd straight game. They just diagnosed him with the left thumb sprain yesterday. He's going to be reevaluated on Saturday. And don't look now, we're quickly approaching training camp for the Birds, just 12 days away from July 22nd when they report. This update was brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's has $1 soft drinks, any size, all breakfast long. Coke, Sprite, Strawberry, Fanta, whatever you want. Any size soft drink for $1. It's got to be Wendy's. Limited time only at participating Wendy's. Terms apply. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philadelphia Sports.
Touchdown! Saquon Barkley!
I knew who he was because I'd actually met him a couple of times, but not met him to have any kind of like long conversation or anything. I'd just been introduced to him. But I had no idea really who he was when he was part of the staff here.
Right.
No idea who he was. And most Phillies fans didn't either and had to Google him. There are a lot of things that Rob Thompson does extremely well. He was a well-liked assistant in baseball for years, a right-hand man to Joe Girardi, a guy who was part of many successful teams. But he was an unknown. Nobody knew who he was. People in baseball circles did. The Jason Starks did. The Buster Olneys did. The Tim Kirkchens did. Sounds a lot like Kevin Patullo. He lived in the relative shadows, Rob Thompson, for a long, long time. And he would maybe get mentioned here and there, like his name would get mentioned, but nobody knew who he was. But where I'm worried about is this, is that there are things that Rob Thompson does really well. And again, I'm not an expert in that clubhouse. I never purport myself to be. But his players that I've spoken to speak so highly of Rob Thompson in interpersonal communication, the workplace atmosphere, things like that. So Kevin Patullo may excel in those same things. I've heard like he's really good in the classroom.
Yeah, and
I've heard things like that in meetings and everything. So there's probably a lot of commonality between the things that they love about Kevin Patullo that the Phillies loved about Rob Thompson.
Right.
Okay? But here's the one thing that he's never done. He's been in the shadows forever, just like Rob Thompson. What Rob Thompson doesn't do well is influence games under the gun while it's in action, because he never had to. And what does Kevin Patullo have to do? Much harder than Rob Thompson. He has to call plays with a play clock, and he's got 15 seconds to call a play in Jalen Hurts' ear, spit it out, get Jalen to understand it before the play clock cuts out in his ear, but by the way, anticipate the play he wants to call next, pick the play, get it out, spit it out. He's never been an under-the-gun, pressurized decision maker. And if you go to those game decisions, like the audio of those things, he wasn't making decisions on play calling during games. So to me, that's where a concern lies. Rob Thompson does a lot of things well, and he really does. And people that I talk to have many times said to me, John, you're too rough on Rob Thompson because you don't understand this, and this that he does. And then I always try to acknowledge it to you that people will say to me, John, be sure you mention this and this and this when you're talking about Rob Thompson because he does that great. Because they're the things you don't see and you don't get to know. And I'm sure Patullo will do the same. But what Rob Thompson never did in his baseball career was have to make under-the-gun decisions. And a baseball manager has time. An offensive coordinator does not.
Now,
a play caller does not. Kevin Patullo has never had this kind of pressure under him on the clock for a team this loaded in a city like this with these kind of expectations. So I am going to have to see it to believe it. That's all I'm saying.
I think you're right on a lot of that stuff. But I do think there's one major difference between the two. And the first place I thought of when you were drawing that comparison was the circumstance of the hire. Rob Thompson was hired as an interim manager to replace a guy who was not getting the job done, who was taking a talented roster and getting very little out of them, that the players did not seem to jive with. And
they didn't.
Yeah,
they didn't.
I'm trying to be as kind as possible to Joe Girardi.
See, he's the golden doodle. They didn't like him. They did not like Joe Girardi.
And he also wasn't a guy that I looked at and said, this guy's a master strategist. We saw multiple times in his Phillies tenure going to the bullpen for a guy who's not on the roster, going to the bullpen for a guy who's not warmed up yet. He had his issues in that as well. So Rob Thompson, to me, was taking a team that was lost and trying to find them. Kevin Patullo is coming into a situation where the guy he is replacing was hired away because of the success he had in that position, or the success the team had while he was in that position. Because I don't think it was totally Kellen Moore. I think it was a lot of, hey, this Eagles team is great. Like we talked about how Kellen Moore kind of underwhelmed at points in his year, even though the Eagles did win the Super Bowl with how the offense was productive. But
I think he underwhelmed.
Rob Thompson.
To me, last year I was disappointed with a lot of what I saw out of it.
And I agree with you. Like we didn't get the Kellen Moore we thought we were going to get. It was still plenty good enough for them to win. It was plenty
good enough to win, but
Kevin Patullo comes in with the exact blueprint of how to do this. Right? He was shown the way by Kellen Moore last year. And it was not a we're in dire straits, middle of the season, come on in and figure this out. It is a, hey, you are being brought in ahead of an offseason in an organization where we have this, to some extent, figured out what we want to do. Now it's tweak it. And I wonder if that makes you feel a little bit better that he's been able to see how this can work rather than Rob Thompson be put in a situation where it's not working.
I wonder if Rob Thompson was, though it's a very good point, and I will give you that. I wonder if Rob Thompson was sitting there watching Joe Girardi and going, Joe, you made a mistake there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I wonder.
Yeah.
Because I bet you would.
You would like to think, right?
Look, there are times, because we will literally ask Connor. We'll go, Connor, that segment sucked, didn't it? When he's producing.
And most of the time I say yes.
And Connor will say, I would have, he'll say, I would have done that a little differently, or I would have done this. And that's what a good producer will do for you. And you also have to be willing to hear it. You got to be willing to listen to it, and there's many in the business that won't. But I think that Rob Thompson probably sat there and Joe Girardi, and more importantly, probably observed day to day and said, boy, you handled that interaction wrong.
Right, so learned what not to do. So there's something in that as well.
You know what I mean? So I think there's probably some of that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think it's a perfect example.
I think you give a good example there is that it is a different situation.
Yeah.
And he also has an entire offseason to build up to it.
Right. And then
he's not being thrown in literally in the middle of the workday.
Right. And to the contrary, in years past, Rob Thompson has had pretty much everything a baseball manager can ask for at his disposal when it comes to the players. Right? Now, the bullpen this year is a mess. And part of that's his management of it at points, but a lot of that, to me, is Dave Dombrowski, and I don't think he has the ingredients to make a good meal out of this bullpen, to use the food example. Kevin Patullo has everything, man.
Oh, he's got everything he needs.
That may be a situation where, again, Kevin Patullo is just in a better overall situation, which is tough to say considering the Phillies' payroll and the talent they have. But if you just look at the Eagles' offense, it would be like the Phillies being number one in everything. Like their rotation's number one, their lineup's number one, their bullpen's number one. They've been a really good baseball team, but the Eagles' offense is like the single greatest unit or side of the ball or anything in this city right now. And Kevin Patullo gets to roll into that after seeing Kellen Moore put together a Super Bowl winning offense with those guys. So maybe that makes you feel better.
God, I almost hate saying it. That's really well done, Connor Thomas.
No, it may not play out that way.
No, but that's really well done. That made me think. It made me think. That's really well done.
I hope that settled you a little bit.
No, it does. I mean, that's really well done. What biggest thing was the way they take over.
Yes.
And honestly, in my thought process, I never thought of that. That one day, Rob Thompson got told, oh, by the way, Rob, you're the guy. Whereas Kevin Patullo got told, you interview for the job, you're hired, oh, and you got 6 months to ramp up, 7 months to get ready
don't
for
say the ramp up thing.
You don't want to say ramp up around here. What's the story with VJ Edgecombe?
Oh, we're going to get into that coming up next. To that? Because, my goodness.
Seriously.
Sixers basketball is back, ladies and gentlemen. We will talk about VJ Edgecombe. I want to sneak in a text real quick before we go to break because we've been talking a lot about the Phillies. We also brought up that Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts thing. You can call me crazy on that one because that may be a crazy conversation to have. What do we have on the text line, Connor?
Yeah, we got Jordan from Chester checking in saying Jaden Daniels is a good quarterback, but he is not better than my quarterback. They said the same thing about C.J. Stroud after his rookie year, and once the tape came out, he regressed in his second year. Just give it some time, and let's really see who Jaden Daniels is before we say he's better than Hurts.
There you go.
I think that's totally fair.
Bravo. That's it.
Yeah, I do think people are missing a little bit of the point that I'm trying to make because Jalen Hurts is the better quarterback. right? That is my guy. So
But you can't have the conversation yet about Daniels.
Right. That's all I'm saying, though, is that conversation flat out like dead on arrival to you, or is there a conversation point there? If it's
Would any of the previous Super Bowl MVPs insert their name against Jaden Daniels? Super Bowl MVPs.
Yeah.
Coming off of it. No, you wouldn't have that conversation.
No, you probably wouldn't.
You can't let that.
And that's the Jalen Hurts discourse that we've seen throughout his career that's unfair to the guy.
And I thought it would die off, but there's some diehards.
Oh, it's not going anywhere.
Keeping it going.
It's not going anywhere, but that's good. Maybe that motivation is another piece of what he needs to lead this team to a repeat. We'll figure that out starting in 2 weeks when training camp gets going. He always does. Okay. I thought it was nothing. Maybe it's something. BJ Edgecombe, the latest on the injury issues for the Sixers rookie, coming up next here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The summer's here, and you know what that means. Engagement season. But remember, don't force it.
Don't tell your significant other something.
it.
Gotta hate that.
Everybody hits.
Woo! Gotta hate it.
I love that guy.
No.
Oh, man, come on.
You never sat near him.
I know. Well,
gosh,
hey,
what a
still.
legend.
Yeah, that's
legend.
the homie right there. But he would have been going nuts yesterday, and we would have been going nuts over Bryce Harper.
He was already nuts.
who
sat there and annoyed the whole building.
He had 4 hits, all of them extra base hits, 3 doubles, and a home run, and all to like left and left center too. So we were asking the
Which
question.
is wild to see.
It's good because it means he's staying through the baseball. He's working it the opposite way, and to have that power the opposite way is a good sign. Now, it's not enough for you, Johnny, or for me to say Bryce Harper is fully back, right? 1 game does not a season make. But do you think he's back is one of the questions we ask, because I know there are some people that were quick to jump back on the bandwagon there, and that's totally fine. If you're there, I know it comes from a place of excitement. I just need to see more, because 1 does not prove anything to me. We both need to see sustained Bryce Harper production to maybe not his full potential, like MVP season Bryce, but we set the line of 10.5 RBIs for the rest of the month of July.
Which is very fair. 14 games.
Yep.
10.5 RBI.
So if he has 11 or more, that's the point where it's like, okay, now we can start to look at him as back and start to kill off that narrative a little bit of how he could hurt their chances if he's not at 100%. Also, who is Jesus Lazardo to you as a starting pitcher right now? A gem by him yesterday, 7 scoreless. He's had some really bad starts, but he's had mostly really good starts. What is your evaluation of him as a Phillies pitcher? Like, where's your confidence level? You can join in on those conversations on the phone line or text line, 610-632-0975. Gunnar, what do we have on the text line on our Phils?
Yeah, we got Joe in West Philly checking in on that Bryce Harper conversation. He says, forget the rest of the regular season. As long as he can power up and produce when the playoffs roll around and he can help them to a World Series run, that's all I'm asking for. We need him to gear up for that. He has the rest of the regular season to get there.
It's not how it works, though. Like, I mean, powering up, you don't flip a switch. And we got into this discussion in 2024, last year all along, and I kept saying to Connor, where's the switch, Connor? Where's that switch?
It's right over there on the wall.
Because it's not over. And I kept looking. I said, Connor, where's the switch? It's not there. There is no switch. And that switch never was flipped.
No, it was not.
You can't do it. But there's plenty of time. That's the beauty. It's July 10th. There's plenty of time for Harper, a guy who deserves the benefit of the doubt, by the way, that he can find the switch.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll find it.
Right, but I'm not going to, if he's the guy that we've seen for the first couple months of the season, right, or even for the last 40-some at-bats where he had no extra base hits, like if he's that guy for the rest of the year and then we hit October, it would be foolish to then look at it and say, well, it's Red October.
Now he's going to start cranking it up.
Like, no, you need to see more of it in the regular season, so I don't necessarily agree with that. What else do we have on the text line?
We got somebody checking in. I can't tell if he's a fan of Harper or we're just overestimating him, but he says we have to stop acting like Harper is a 100 RBI kind of guy. He's only done that twice in his 13-year career. Harper overall is great, but he's a 280 hitter, 30 home runs, and 80 RBI guy. That's his standard.
I sort of don't disagree with that.
No, I got you. And, like, that's fine. In this lineup, like, that will be okay if he gets that point. The reason we brought up the 100 RBI thing is because we had a texter earlier who wants him to get to 35 home runs. And my point was just at this point in the season, you have to throw out the totality stats, like the what has he done over the whole year. It's more of a what is he doing month to month? What is he pacing for? Does he look like that guy? So that's the only reason we brought that up. I don't think that's an unfair way to look at Bryce. And then 100 RBIs is just that random number that comes out when you think about a great run-producing hitter. But Bryce Harper is also valuable in the fact that people stay away from him. We played a Jason Stark clip for you earlier, and
was chasing this year, though.
Yeah, chasing a lot, but still seeing more pitches out of the zone than pretty much anyone else in baseball. So that's more on his approach, but that's part of the value of him. Even when he's not hitting, when he's going good and he's not pressing and his swing feels good, he will be on base. He will create those opportunities on the base paths because pitchers still want to stay away from him. Now, staying away from things.
Oh, here we go.
If only the Sixers could stay away from the injury bug.
No.
This is crazy.
It really is. So we got an update on VJ Edgecombe, who missed his second Summer League game. So the first Summer League game, 28 points, great performance. Everyone was very excited about that. Looked awesome.
Yay!
Second Summer League game, he's unavailable due to a thumb contusion, is what they were calling it at the time.
The most Sixers thing ever.
Now it has been diagnosed as a thumb sprain, and he will not play tonight for their next Summer League game, and they will reevaluate him again on Saturday to give us a better idea. Now,
this truly is unbelievable.
He is still participating in on-court workouts and team activities, so it's not like they have him completely shut down or anything. This very well could be, right, the thumb contusion could have been the Sixers medical staff there at Summer League, which I imagine is not the whole unit of who they normally have in a regular season. Say, hey, thumb contusion, we'll call it that. You're sitting tonight. And then they get a true doctor opinion, and they go, okay, it's actually technically a thumb sprain, and we'll get further information for you as it happens. Like, this still could be nothing, but it's very, very Sixers that it went from, he looks great, thumb contusion, thumb sprain reevaluated in a couple days. It should make you nervous because of the track record with this organization.
I'm not believing it. I'm sorry. The Sixers don't deserve the benefit of the doubt on any injury situation because they're not straight with us. They're not. And I love it. We're the Sixers flagship. I love the Sixers. I want to see them do well, but they don't get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I don't think that's unfair.
I mean, they just don't. I can't give it to them.
What is your thought process on Edgecombe? Do you think it's worse than what it is, or you're just like, I'm not?
Yes, yes. Why would they not be getting him playing time? Like what would be your reasoning of not getting him playing time?
Well, he's the number 3 overall pick in Summer League.
Okay, so why would you not get him playing time?
Well, because the thumb is in some way injured, and they want to be very, very cautious. Like,
okay, then that's fine. I mean,
I think this comes from just a place of caution, but the problem is...
Why do you assume that?
Because of the reporting done around it. I mean, the thumb contusion is nothing major. To the thumb sprain, it's not like all of a sudden they say, actually, he's got a break, which if we do get to that point, God only knows what's going to happen. But I haven't seen anything to be concerned about besides what's happened to other players with the Sixers. And I don't know.
That should have you concerned, though.
I don't know that that's fair. That's more of just like the...
Why would that be unfair?
Well, that's more of like a karmic thing. It's just like the Sixers always have guys hurt. It's always worse than what it is.
No, I'm talking about the misdirection on injuries.
Yeah, but I don't know that the misdirection...
Why would it be unfair of you to go, I'm doubting the information I'm being given? Why would that be unfair? Honestly.
Because it's not Joel Embiid or Paul George.
So you think that, okay, so we're only going to be a little misinformation on those guys? Come on now.
Yeah, I'm not ready to go that far, though. I know if you are, I can't fight you.
And I'm just saying, I'm not saying that we're right, but if you have doubts, I completely understand it.
Yeah, exactly. I understand them. I'm just not there. I'm still in the everything's okay mode, but I've taken another step.
You're Leslie Nielsen in front of the building.
Yeah.
Everything's okay.
Yeah, I'm still good with that. But
these are peaceful.
More eyes are now on this situation than there were when it was just a thumb contusion. So we will keep you updated, as we always do, or try to do, with the information that we get from Sixers on injuries. Now,
keep you updated.
The Phillies actually made a signing yesterday of a minor league arm. And
I thought it was you when I looked at the stats.
Listen. If I had those stats at the AAA level, I'd be pretty excited with myself. But, Johnny, you want to talk a little bit about it and how this better not be the plan. I don't think it is, but we'll have a fun discussion about what this guy could be coming up next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Another milestone for Bryce Harper. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update, and it's brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's has $1 soft drinks, any size, all breakfast long, Coke, Sprite, Strawberry, Fanta, whatever you want. Any size soft drink for $1, it's got to be Wendy's. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Terms apply. The Phillies bounced back in a major way yesterday and avoided the sweep by the Giants with a 13-0 win. The story of the game was the bats came alive. Bryce Harper recorded his first 4 extra base hit game of his career, including his 10th 10th home run of the season. Kyle Schwarber also went yard for the 29th time this season. He's currently on pace to become the second player in team history to have a 50 home run season, joining Ryan Howard in 2006. The most impressive thing about yesterday, though, was every starter in the lineup came through with an RBI. On the mound, Jesus Lazardo went 7 innings. He did not allow a run on 3 hits. The Phillies have an off day today before beginning a 3-game series with the Padres on Friday. The Sixers continue their Summer League action tonight when they face the San Antonio Spurs in their Summer League squad. Tip-off is tonight at 9. Do not expect to see VJ Edge come out there as he's missing his 3rd straight game and what they're now calling a left thumb sprain. Unfortunately, he'll be reevaluated on Saturday. This update was also brought to you by the International Hot Rod Association. Nitro is back. The IHRA Outlaw Nitro Series is lighting up the track. Nitro Nation, grab your tickets now at IHRA.com. IHRA.com. I'm Brendan Gunn, and you're listening to the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Texting, the easiest and most convenient way to communicate.
Texting, when you want to be heard, but not be heard.
Texting.
A $50 Wendy's gift card here in a little bit. Actually, you know what? Why don't we do that now?
Caller 99. Just kidding.
No, we're not doing caller 99. Poor Nate back there is going to be talking to everybody in the Delaware Valley. Let's go caller number 4 for the number of extra base hits Bryce Harper had yesterday on the phone line 610-632-0975. Right now, we'll get a $50 Wendy's gift card. Wendy's has $1 soft drinks, any size, all breakfast long. Coke, Sprite, strawberry Fanta, whatever you want. Any size soft drink for $1, got to be Wendy's. Johnny, the Phillies made a deal yesterday. Not as good as our deal with the free Wendy's gift cards, but they made a deal for a minor league arm. And you're trying to figure out what exactly the plan is behind it. Tell the people a little bit.
Well, they're shopping at Big Lots again. Phil Bickford is coming to town. I think he was on Modern Family.
You might have been.
I think he might have been one of the dads. Phil Bickford's in town, so that's going to cure all your problems. So once again, they're going into Walmart, and you know the bin where you look for the old DVDs, and you got the bin, but you have to go fishing, and you might find the great DVD, but you're going to find like 12 copies of that bad baseball movie, that really bad baseball movie. They got all the copies of that one, but you might find like one. You might find a Caddyshack for like 99 cents. It gives me a little bit of a warning that, okay, they know they're getting Alvarado back. They're probably going to go for one quality arm in, shopping for. And then they're going to try to throw Phil Bickford at us and say, this is what we're going to try to do to fix this thing.
So Bickford is signed on a minor league deal. He had 20 appearances in the minors this year with a 2.6 ERA, a .76 whip.
Numbers look pretty good.
And a 156 batting average against 36 Ks in 27 and 2/3 innings.
Not bad.
So, yeah, and all those numbers at AAA, or I believe at AAA, yeah. And he's going to be on the minor league deal, which means he could go to AAA Lehigh, or he could very quickly be called up to the major league bullpen. I don't look at this as I don't look at this as anything to do with the trade deadline. Like, I don't think they're going to try and sell this as a trade deadline acquisition or something that they add that'll stop them from adding a top one or two
no. I think they're going to go and get one quality guy.
Right.
They're going to try to get like a Hoffman Estevez type of guy who you gave away this offseason for whatever ungodly reason.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go get one of them, but this will be one of those moves that they're like, well, we also got Bickford. We went and got Bickford for you.
Yeah, but I don't mind this move. Like, I don't think there's much downside to it. You sign the guy. You don't give up anything to get him. Right now in your bullpen, Daniel Robert, I don't know why he's at the major league level. Max Lazar's been good lately, but I don't see him as a major league pitcher out of the bullpen. You have guys in this bullpen that you need to replace to at least try something different. And down in the minors, who are you really going to call up? You can call up Alan Rangel, who had a really nice 5-inning outing in a blowout against the Braves. You could call up Michael Mercado, who got shelled when he was up here this year and has had multiple chances at the major league level and hasn't looked great. I think he's just another option to try as one of these middle relievers that you hope can maybe give you something to hold you over until the deadline. That's what I think this move is.
All right, so that's fine. So here's the one question I've got for anybody about this that has that attitude. So you're saying, you don't know why Robert is on a major league roster. You don't know why this guy is on a major league roster. Then that begs the question. Why is this guy not on a major league roster?
Yeah,
all of Major League Baseball's begging for bullpen arms, looking for talent, and this guy's flying under the radar and nobody's finding him.
The Phillies found him.
What I'm saying is the guys that you're saying, damn, why are we not on? Why is this guy on a Major League roster? Why are we trotting this guy out? This is a guy that nobody's calling for.
Yeah,
nobody's bringing him up. Nobody's looking for him.
I'm not trying to tell you he's going to work out, but what I will say is that when I see a guy out there in the Phillies bullpen that is not getting the job done, that's one of these minor league call-up guys, the idea is you send him down. But at this point in the season, the Phillies they've had so much turnover with their bullpen, with trying to call guys up and sending guys back down, set Johnson up, set Johnson down, all of this stuff, that I wouldn't mind another guy just being in the mix.
Well, I think what you're looking, though, is you're in that bin. You're at Walmart, you're in the bin, you're pulling out a 99-cent DVD hoping to get a good one. you're just getting another of what you've already got. You're trying to find.
No, you are.
You're hoping
but it
that
costs
there's
you nothing.
You're hoping there's a Jeff Hoffman in there.
Maybe.
You're hoping there's somebody is in there.
I don't think that's what they're looking for, though. I think what they're looking for is just a different name to bring up to maybe get you through the next 2 weeks. Give you 3 or 4 good appearances. He can turn back into a pumpkin, get us to the trade deadline. Because the way the bullpen looked this series, at least the first 2 games, was like didn't feel sustainable even till the end of July. As you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, and WPEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. Yeah, I see this as a flyer on a guy that could give you a different look out of the bullpen as one of these call-up options.
Okay.
While you get closer to the deadline. This would be like a 2-week impact if he gets called up at the most. And I don't think they'll ever try and sell this as but we got this guy. I think you're adding to the rotation of guys that haven't worked, and maybe he will for a little bit. That's the only place my expectation goes with this, and I don't think that the Phillies will have the wool pulled over their eyes by that.
Okay.
But I
hope you're right.
Yeah, I just don't need to, if I get the transaction notification that, we're sending down Daniel Robert and we're calling back up Michael Mercado, my response to that is, what the hell are we doing? At least if you try this guy, it's a guy you haven't seen yet. So maybe he's something different. Maybe he's not.
Okay,
Worst case, you're in the same spot you were in.
I would just say is that the guys you're questioning, why are they on a major league roster? I would just ask the question to you, why is this guy not?
Right.
When 30-some teams are looking for pitching, begging for pitching. That tells me that he hasn't been good enough to get there.
No, I agree with you. I think he's the same level of guy, but you can't just keep going back to the same bad relievers.
I'm all for trying something else.
Get a different bad reliever.
And there is no risk, but I'm like, this guy, teams have been saying, no, we're good. We see his numbers. We're good.
Yeah. Well, worst case, we're in the same spot we were.
Sure.
Best case, you get 2 weeks out of the guy, and he gives you a little something to hold you over until reinforcements, we hope, are coming. What else do we have on the text line there, Gunner? I know we had some Phillies questions and comments from earlier on in the show. What's on the line?
Yeah, we got somebody wondering why Kyle Schwarber doesn't get the credit he deserves as the top guy in our lineup. He says, how come Schwarber every season has better numbers than Harper, and he never gets the credit for it? Harper is always looked at as the guy when it really should be Schwarber talked about as the guy.
When you say better numbers, are you talking about home runs? Is that where your mind goes? Because average-wise, Kyle Schwarber is not the better hitter.
Remember, Kyle Schwarber had like 212 average one year, didn't he? So, I mean, it depends on what you value.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not knocking Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber's one of the 3 guys. The top 3 on this team, Harper, Schwarber, Turner. Those are the 3 big-time names that are going to have to produce one way or another for you to get to where you want to go. But it depends on the type of player that you're looking for. Trey Turner is the pure average guy. He could show off some power here and there, but clearly he fits best on this team when he's hitting around 300 and leading the National League in hits. That is what he's supposed to do. Harper's kind of the do-it-all guy. He can put the ball out of the yard. He can walk. He can hit for average. He can create those extra base hits because he has the speed. He's just an all-around really good hitter when he's going good. And Schwarber is the power guy that has a great knowledge of the strike zone, and if you go inside it at all, he's going to take you out of the park. Right? So they're all different. They all fit together in their right ways when they're going good. But I don't think anyone's overlooking Kyle Schwarber.
Kyle Schwarber, I think, is I believe he gets the biggest ovation every time from any Phillies player at the stadium.
Yeah.
When I'm there, at least.
Right. So if you're who's going to drive in the runs, who's going to be the home run guy, who's going to get me off my feet at the ballpark, it's fair to say that's Kyle Schwarber on this baseball team. But it doesn't necessarily make him the best overall hitter. And saying that with Bryce Harper and Trey Turner as the other 2 guys in the conversation does not mean we're overlooking Kyle Schwarber. All right? There are talented guys in this lineup. And Schwarber is certainly one of the ones at the top. What else do we have on the text line?
We got somebody checking in saying John is right. There is no on and off switch, but it does seem like every time the playoffs come around for the Phillies, they do find a switch. Besides last year, I guess.
Yeah, besides last year. No, they have in the past.
Is that Rip Van Winkle tweeting us?
Maybe.
They've been asleep since 2023 before the Arizona series?
Alarm clock just went off.
There it is.
I get it when you see what happened in 22 and 23, but the way that 23 ended and the way that you go out in the divisional series last year. There is no more looking at this team where they could just turn it on. It's fair to see what's at stake this year and what's gone wrong in past years and say, I need to see this in the regular season for an extended period of time before I believe they're going to do it in October. That narrative that texter just came in with went out the window last year the second you lost to the Mets. And we are now in a different Philadelphia Phillies world. So it doesn't quite hold the weight as it would have in 23 or maybe even in 24. Coming up next, we're going to have the best 5 minutes of Adam Schefter for you, our interview that we had earlier on the day. So we got into some very intriguing stuff with Schefter on a big matchup for the Birds in Week 4 with the Buccaneers. And
he gave us a little bit of insight on some of our discussions.
Absolutely did. Helped settle some debates, as Adam Schefter's always want to do. So we will play that for you coming up next, as well as reset what we're on to with our Phillies topics. It's Kincade and Salciunas here, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Hey, everybody, it's Bill Colarulo, and coming up at 2 o'clock on
So let's remind everybody what we were getting into earlier on the show, because we've been bouncing around a lot lately. We talked to Adam Schefter. The best 5 minutes of that interview comes your way this segment. So if you missed that, you will hear the best 5. We also talked a lot about the Phils in a much different sense than we did on yesterday's show. The inside the park walk-off home run loss felt a little bit different than the 13-0 offensive explosion win for the Phillies. Now, Johnny, when you see them do that, do you think about momentum for the series with the Padres and building it into the break, or was it just it was a good afternoon?
I think it was a great afternoon. And I think that's great because I believe more often than not the Phillies can put together really good afternoons.
Yeah.
So I'm like, look, I think they're a 90-win team. I think they're a playoff team. I think they're a team that very well will potentially win the division, or should win the division. But I don't put too much into one day more than I don't put too much into losing 2 days in a row. I just don't. I refuse to do the roller coaster of a baseball season.
Yeah, I feel you.
I just can't do it.
Now, I'll ask you this, because we had a previous set line that is still on the table, but it's going to be a lot for the Phillies to do it. So we said coming into this road trip, if they go 4-2,
correct,
they will hit the mark that we set for them in this tough stretch of the schedule leading up to the All-Star break.
Can't do it.
Well, they can. They would have to sweep the San Diego Padres with Sanchez, Suarez, Wheeler.
Don't believe they're doing that, but I'm fine.
Okay.
I mean, it's like they're sitting just fine.
Right.
Like they're a half game up on first place today. They've got wipe out the Padres here, and I'm telling you, after the break, until you get to late August, the schedule really loosens up.
Yeah.
And I have no problem thinking that in the 6-week period they're going to crank out 6 weeks. They'll probably crank out 28 wins.
Yeah.
Something like that. So,
and that would be awesome for them.
Yeah, they're going to be fine. They're going to get that up into the 80s. We're going to go into September with them like 85 wins. Like 82 wins or 83 wins heading into September. They'll be fine.
And you go get 12 or 13, it puts you in the same time frame or same win frame as last year.
Now the last week of August, you get the last Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of August, you get 3 at the Mets.
Right. And that's going to be a big
And those are
series
your last 3 at the Mets. You've already finished at the Braves.
Yeah.
Not that the Braves look like they're anything, but your last 3 at the Braves, you're already done in Atlanta. You'll be done at the Mets those last 3. And then 4 with the Mets at home in September. That's going to be awesome.
See, we say that. And right now
You don't think so?
It looks that way. I do think so.
I think those games are going to be huge.
But the Mets have been kind of scuffling. And they have not been playing tough competition like the Phillies have been. Right? The Mets,
that would be correct.
So, and part of it's been injuries, and they're not short-term injuries. Like, they've been losing some guys either for the season or for a long period of time. So I wonder if the Mets continue on that pace and the Phillies hit an easier stretch of their schedule, by the end of August, are we looking at it where it's just like, wow, these games actually don't matter. The Phils have taken control.
Well, after the break, the Mets, and this is where my speedy little
your little
thing
chart
plays
here.
off.
The spreadsheet.
The Mets have that same road trip the Phillies are playing this week. They have that coming up. 3 at the Giants, 3 at the Padres. Coming up the last week of July.
Not easy for any team.
So that's not going to be a good week for them. Then they come home and they play the Giants again.
Yeah.
3 games. So they play the Giants 6 out of 9 games. That's not going to be easy. Then they got to go to the Brewers. By the way, the Phillies will go see the Brewers, who swept them here. They'll go see them in September in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
That's still waiting there.
No, for sure.
And then their schedule opens up.
Okay.
Their schedule opens up into a much easier schedule. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, they just haven't taken advantage of it. So I don't know.
Sure.
I'm not willing to say for sure that those games are going to be like all these must
Phillies need some how about this?
They need separation.
By Labor Day, the Phillies need separation.
Totally agree with you. And we'll see if they're going to get it.
See if they get it.
That'll start.
And what's
after the
separation
All-Star
for
break.
you? For you guys?
4.5 plus.
I would say 4.
I think 4 is good. Like
Okay.
I feel good
I'll
with
come down to 4.
Like I feel good with 4. If they get to Labor Day where they played the 3 at New York and they're up by 4, I'm feeling great. Like feeling great about it.
Yeah.
Because then you're saying just split in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and then
you got 4 games in Philly, just split. Don't give up any.
makes
Don't
your
give up
job
any
much
ground.
easier. How do you feel about 5? As in the best 5 minutes of Adam Schefter?
Well, let's hear it if it's good.
Let's go to it right now. Our earlier interview with Adam Schefter right now. The best 5 comes your way. Our pal Adam Schefter joining us now on the Comcast Business Hotline. As always, he's brought to you by Landis Block. Create your very own jaw-dropping backyard paradise online at landisbc.com. Shefty, you had some big breaking news yesterday.
Morning.
In a time of the NFL offseason that's normally a little bit quiet, Tristan Wirfs of the Buccaneers, we're going to start here, has a knee injury. The Eagles played the Buccaneers week 4. So is the expectation for him to be on the PUP list to start the season?
Well, I can tell you this. My guess is it'll be a wait-and-see process, that they see how he is recovering during training camp. They think he could miss, quote-unquote, a few games. Now, if he's placed on the physically unable to perform list in late August on the final roster cutdown situation, if he's placed on PUP, he's out 4 games automatically. So either they'll place him on PUP and he's out 4 games, or they won't place him on PUP, and that would tell you that they expect him back sooner than 4 games. And that's a decision that they'll have to make at that point in time when they see how he's recovering. But again, I say this, it's July 10th, he had the surgery July 8th. Like, to say already that he's going to miss a few games on July 8th, 2 months out, that sounds like a pretty significant cleanup to me. Like, if it was a meniscus, it might be 4 to 6 weeks, and you'd be saying, okay, we think he's going to be back for the start of the season. They didn't say that. So they went in there, they cleaned up some stuff that was there, found some other stuff that was there. It's not an ACL, it's not season ending, it's not long-term, but it's enough that he's going to be a PUP candidate, and that will determine whether or not the all-pro left tackle is out there in week 4 against the Eagles.
I got to tell you that, Adam, I'm about to lose my mind with some of my brethren here in Philly that are expecting the Eagles offense to sputter a little bit, to have some bumps in the road with a new offensive coordinator. And I'm thinking to myself, what offense in the NFL has more players returning, more star quality returning, and is the Super Bowl champs coming back? I'm not accepting that there should be a stumble period, a struggle bust period, or anything, because I'm looking at that first month of the schedule. Cowboys and the Rams at home, Chiefs and the Bucs on the road, and saying the offense is going to have to cover for a defense that has a lot of new faces on it.
Yeah, look, I just think they're a good team. When you've got an offense like that, the offensive line is so strong. There are so many weapons. I don't know why there would be a follow-up. And even though there are new faces on the defensive side of football, I still think it's going to be a strong, tough defense. Like, what are they? I know they lost some parts. You lose Milton Williams. You lose Montez Sweat. You lose some of these guys, Josh Sweat, excuse me, that's going to make a difference. But they got a lot of talent on that side of football, a lot. And so it may take a little bit of time for it to come together, but it still should be a very good defense in my mind.
Now, speaking of the offense that Johnny brought up there was a debate that we played from one of your coworkers at ESPN. Chris Canty was talking a little bit about the Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts comparison that seems to have popped up a bunch this offseason. To you, Adam, at this point, with Jaden Daniels only having played 1 year of his NFL career, is it fair to talk about those guys and compare them, or is it an easy pick to go Hurts over Daniels?
Well, first of all, I haven't heard any of this talk comparing and contrasting Jalen Hurts and Jaden Daniels throughout the offseason. I don't know where it was about. I don't know what the genesis of it was, and I don't know what the conclusion is. I just view it as 2 different quarterbacks. You know, Jalen Hurts is a guy that's won the Super Bowl, a guy that has made his mark, a guy that's gotten paid, a guy that you know you can count on. You know, the Jaden Daniels, to me, he's the future. He just is. And Jalen Hurts already has accomplished so much, you know, with 2 NFC championships and 1 Super Bowl ring, that I'm not comparing anybody to him. But I will say that when you're looking at this league right now, you know, if you could pick one guy for the future, it might just be Jaden Daniels. It might be him right now. That's how impressive he is. And I don't mean just talent, like the way he handles himself and the regard that other players have for him. Again, he still has to go and accomplish everything that Jalen Hurts has, and he has it. So we're still a little premature, but I think anybody who sees Washington can easily say, like, this guy is the real deal. Real deal.
Now, Adam, we're 2 weeks or under 2 weeks to training camp. I wonder, is there an NFC team out there that you see as a potential contender that not enough people are talking about?
I think the team that people haven't talked about enough, team that hasn't garnered enough attention, a team that is better than people think, a team that I would actually put in the elite the elite of the NFC teams that nobody's talked about. People talk about San Francisco still, and they have to get back, and I don't see that right now. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think, are an underrated team, despite the Tristan Wirfs injury that we opened this segment with, that people aren't talking about.
There it is, our best 5 minutes of our interview earlier today with Adam Schefter. We always appreciate Schefty joining us. Coming up next, we are going to get into some more NFL talk, more quarterback NFL talk. But no, it's not about the guy in town. It's not about Jaden Daniels. Somebody said something about Patrick Mahomes. And,
and Brendan Gunn at one time.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's, given what was said, that's going to be uncalled for coming up next. Brendan already knows. Is Patrick Mahomes fat? Talk about it up next here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Patrick Mahomes is not fat, but those Phillies RBIs, there were a fat stack of them yesterday. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update, and it's brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's has $1 soft drinks on any size, all breakfast long, Coke, Sprite, Strawberry Fanta, whatever you want. Any size soft drink for $1, it's got to be Wendy's. Limited time only at participating Wendy's. Terms apply. The Phillies bounced back in a major way yesterday and avoided the sweep of the Giants. They won 13-0 yesterday. The story of the game, though, was the bats. They came alive yesterday. Bryce Harper recorded his first 4 extra base hit game of his career, including his 10th home run of the season. Kyle Schwarber also went yard yesterday for the 29th time this season. He's currently on pace to become the second Phillies player ever in team history to have 50-plus home runs in a season. He'd be joining Ryan Howard in 2006. The most impressive thing about yesterday, though, was every single starter in the lineup came through with an RBI. And on the mound, Jesus Lazardo went 7 innings, did not allow a run on 3 hits. The Phils have an off day today before beginning a 3-game series with the Padres on Friday. The Sixers continue Summer League action tonight when they face off against the San Antonio Spurs and their Summer League squad. Tip-off for that game's at 9 p.m. tonight. Don't expect to see VJ Edge come in that game. He's going to miss his 3rd straight with what they're now calling a left thumb sprain. That changed from contusion yesterday. He'll be reevaluated on Saturday. This update was also brought to you by ExpressPros.com. Looking for a job in logistics or supply chain industries? Connect with dozens of local businesses at your Express Employment Professionals location at ExpressPros.com. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Do you feel unfulfilled? Do your afternoons feel like Groundhog Day because you keep hearing this?
No.
Next week, baby.
Can't wait.
Next week. Love you guys.
Yeah, it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, too long.
We'll have those new rejoins.
There you go. Next week.
Tune in for that one next week. But
Statman has some great stuff for us.
Yeah, there will be some good ones coming. What's not great radio is what happened from Kevin Keitzman. So Kevin does sports talk radio out in Kansas City.
Correct.
And Patrick Mahomes had a picture pop up recently of him in off-season form. And he does not have a shredded six-pack or anything. The muscle definition is not quite
He's never had it, though, recently.
No, he is not.
He's dad bod. He's got a dad bod.
In this picture, the dad bod is on full display. And Kevin Keitzman decided that this was a good time to talk about Patrick Mahomes and if he's too fat and hasn't been putting in the work this offseason. Take a listen to what was said about Mahomes.
Meanwhile, vacation photos are popping up of Patrick Mahomes, and he's fat. He's an embarrassment. You're a $500 million quarterback. You've made all these comments in the offseason that we're going to do our talking on the field. We got our butts kicked in the Super Bowl. We're coming back with a vengeance. Dude, you're fat. Your belly would be fat at my pool, hanging out with us, 60-year-olds. My skin's flabbier than yours. I get it. Stop the fast food. Do a sit-up. Yeah, I'm sure he's worked out and strengthened his arm, and he's done all kinds of different things, quarterback thing. But there's no training to this man. He's not a kid anymore. You can't just run through your NFL career eating Taco Bell all the time.
Well, I can't even.
Like, come on, man.
Well, first off, he violates the number one rule in my mind. Show your face. Like, if you're going to say that, and so I did my research on this.
Yeah.
If you're going to say this guy's fat, you better show your face. And he's not a show your face talk show host.
Gotcha. Now,
if you're going to call a player fat, if you're going to go on the radio behind your mic and go, hey, he's fat. That guy's fat. You better have a credential. You better show up. You better be down there where somebody can see your face, where somebody knows you're there, because they will find you. Players will find you.
Yeah.
A team will go, oh,
Here he
look who
is.
showed up today. The guy who called you fat showed up today. And we'll say something to you. Like, they'll say something to you. And by the way, players listen. Like, players listen. And sometimes when you say stuff on the air, they hear about what you say, and they'll take you aside and they'll correct you. Or they'll take issue with it. But if your face is there and they see you, there's a level of respect. If you never show up and you run your mouth like that, you're calling Patrick Mahomes fat. Shut up. And by the way, you're fat. You're fat yourself. By his standards, you're fatter. You're fatter. And you sit Indian style in a booth. By the way, they had pictures of him. Is that, oh, wait a minute, is that the NFL going to come down to me? As I said, Indian style, crisscross applesauce. He sits crisscross applesauce in a booth. He's sitting in like at like a PJ Wellahans. And he's sitting there like doing show prep, like getting ready to do a show. And he's sitting as a grown man in a booth, crisscross applesauce.
Is he like summoning his chi? Like
maybe
bringing it
he's
together?
The feng shui
I
of the
have
restaurant.
no idea what the hell he's doing, but he
I
looks
don't know,
like
man.
but he looks crazy.
Yeah, it is a
Can
weird
he
way
catch
to
a
sit
ball?
in public.
Like if you're sitting crisscross applesauce, I don't know if you can catch a ball.
Like,
which
I
means
ju-
you shouldn't be calling Patrick Mahomes fat.
Why are you calling him fat? Like, first of all, he's not fat.
Yeah.
He is not in gym shape.
Yeah, exactly. But he hasn't been in his NFL. This would be like somebody, and this is the thing, show your face or not, it's a wild criticism of Patrick Mahomes, who just played in the Super Bowl, trying for a three-peat for his team, as clearly like one of, if not the best quarterbacks still in the NFL.
Yeah, and for all intents and purposes, he got a team that struggled all season long. He put them on his back and got them to another Super Bowl.
He's a surefire lock Hall of Famer if he never threw another pass.
Yes.
And I will tell you, one of the greatest pitchers of all time is Greg Maddux. Got to watch his whole career. Greg Maddux, his nickname within one of the nicknames that he had was Mudslide from his teammates, because when he took his shirt off, it looked like a mudslide. Like, he did not have a physique. And they mocked it. 1 year at spring training, when Maddox and Glavine and Smoltz were around. Now, Smoltz was still in pretty good shape. Leo Mazzoni was upset that all the young pitchers were showing up, the young guns showed up and weren't performing to his standards.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, look at you guys. You all look like you spent all winter in the gym, like you're trying to get beach bodies. Go look at these Hall of Famers that are in the clubhouse. When they're getting out of the shower, they put their towels on. Look at them. They didn't spend their winter working their abs. You don't need to do that. You don't have to be a physical specimen to be the specimen that he is between the ears, the specimen that he is athletically.
My biggest issue with this is, like, if it's, I'm just going to throw out a name, and this is unfair to this guy, but he was the first person that came to mind. If this was an Indianapolis radio station and it was Anthony Richardson that had, like, a picture of him in the offseason where he looked like he put on some pounds, and somebody was like, you got all these issues going on with how you're playing, and it doesn't look like you've been putting the work in. That's one thing. It's still crossing a line to be like, this guy's fat. Because you should be able to have a little bit more nuance in the conversation as a professional in the industry. But also, to take this a step further, this is Patrick freaking Mahomes.
Oh my gosh, I mean, seriously.
Who are you to talk about the physique of this guy that has had this type of career and has still been very, very productive as of late and just led your team to a Super Bowl appearance?
And how many other parades have you gotten to cover?
Yeah, exactly. Like, could you imagine if we had a guy like Patrick Mahomes in the city and he had done that and won that many Super Bowls?
No, I can imagine with some of the people, honestly, some of the people who do this job, I could imagine that there would be people that would be like willing to write shit. Drop that, please. That would be willing to write. That's got our YouTube folks.
Willing to do what?
Yeah, they're going to be people that would be willing to write a bunch of crap like that. Would be willing to. I've never done that. In like 3
that's
years.
Like your third,
like 3 years.
Third
That would be willing to. That would be willing to do that.
Now, let me say this: is it the same thing if we go and criticize a Cooper DeJean for what he did off the field this offseason?
No, it's not the same.
No,
that's completely different. No, it's completely different because Patrick Mahomes has never had the body that he has. He's never had the. He's never had the physique.
If you're talking about focus or performance or something like that, that's one thing. But you're looking at a guy that would be like if Kyle Schwarber showed up to spring training and somebody called him fat.
I mean, Kyle Schwarber was built like a beer barrel.
Exactly.
I was taken aback when we got skinny Kyle.
Yeah,
like
right.
when Kyle Schwarber, when he first got here, said, "Dude, he's built like a beer barrel."
Yeah, but like
that's not calling him fat. You're like, he's built like a beer barrel. He's like, he is. He looks like that. When we say Kyle runs like Ted on the base paths,
runs.
Ted the Bear.
But like that's
and I promise not to cuss.
Yeah,
but it bothers me because the people who do this in our industry make us look terrible.
Yeah.
And they also then won't show their faces to go. They won't go up to Patrick Mahomes and say, "Oh, by the way, Patrick, you're fat."
Like, I'm the guy that called you fat. Yeah.
And I say, here's how he can fix it. I told one of his coworkers who I know, here's the way he fixes it. At training camp, do a broadcast in a bathing suit, just a bathing suit.
Yeah.
That would be a way that he could
just put yourself on the same level.
Mea culpa. That's a way, make fun of yourself, and it'll all be over.
I don't know if anybody wants that to be seen.
No, but I mean...
But no, I get what you're saying. I mean? It's just like, we got to be smart here. One, don't cross lines with your criticism of athletes. Two, understand who you're talking about.
It's Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
For gosh sakes.
Just some dumb comments. I'm glad he's getting ripped for it. He deserves to.
Yes.
That's a stupid take right there. And I'm sure Patrick Mahomes is still going to be pretty damn good at football this year.
Yeah, I think
whether
he is.
you think he's fat in a bathing suit or not. All right. Coming up next, we're going to wrap up the show. We got the key three.
And no more cussing.
No more cussing, please. We have another Wendy's gift card to give away, though.
Don't give
there it is, Kyle Schwarber right there. And we're also going to take a look a little bit back at our Phillies topics, get some more texts. It's Kincade and Salciunas. We'll see how much longer Kincade's with us after ripping one off on the airwaves here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Ray Dunn, Mike Missanelli.
You're giving 2 roster spots to 2 players who showed you
Segment of Kincade Salciunas. I'm Connor Thomas, filling in for Andrew Salciunas for the remainder of the week. He'll be back on Monday. Potty Mouth John Kincade along with me, Brendan Gunn on the board. Fun little segment we did there. And we've been talking a lot about the Phillies as well. So before we get to the key three, we have some other business to attend to. We have another Wendy's $50 gift card to give out, which we will give out this segment. And we also, I want to hear from some of our texters on our conversations today, whether it's what we were just into on the Patrick Mahomes fat conversation, the Phillies topics we've been into. I know we've had a busy day on the text line. So, Gunnar, what do we have there on the line from our friends?
Yeah, we got Joe in Bucks County checking in on that Sixers conversation and VJ Edgecombe.
Yes.
He says the Sixers are cursed. As long as any people from the process remain, they will continue to be cursed. And Pete needs to go, and they need to clear house to make it not cursed anymore.
I have called them a cursed franchise before. I don't know what would lead to them not being cursed.
Well, I'm anti-cursing.
Yeah, wow.
So
clearly not.
So I just I don't believe in that at all. I don't believe in that.
Last segment would say otherwise.
I don't believe they're cursed.
I think that's letting them off the hook. To be honest
yeah,
with
I do
you.
too.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You can't have that conversation without acknowledging what the organization has done to put themselves in those spots.
Correct.
But then you can also look at some of the stuff that they could not control that has affected them. That
like a peanut allergy, but you should have never had that guy here to begin with because you drafted a great
sesame seed. All right.
Either way, who cares?
It's a sesame seed allergy, not a peanut allergy.
Regardless, you can say that's a freak thing, but guess what? That guy should not have been in the building to begin with.
By the way,
yeah, but also he shouldn't have almost died from this damn allergy. Which,
by the way, I missed the peanuts on the flight. I missed the peanuts on the plane.
What, were you sleeping?
No, nobody gets peanuts on the plane.
Oh, yeah, because of allergies?
Because somebody could have an allergy on the flight. Or somebody could carry an EpiPen.
The cookies are better,
right?
Honestly.
Couldn't the person who has the allergy carry the EpiPen?
Yeah, but I don't know how often.
I don't want to see that on a plane.
Yeah. No, but couldn't somebody, isn't the responsibility
I don't want someone to have an allergic reaction.
Isn't it your responsibility to be prepared to...
If the difference is somebody not having to use an EpiPen is me not getting peanuts, then for all sakes, do not give me peanuts.
Okay, so everybody, you're saying then, so everybody should not be able to have like a peanut butter sandwich at a school.
No, I will tell you this. It didn't make me, it grinded my gears in school, and I couldn't have a Reese's thing the day after Halloween to somebody.
Shouldn't it be the responsibility of the person who has the thing? Much like me. When I was a cancer patient, and I had to self-regulate myself because of my immune system. It was my responsibility to take care of myself.
Yeah, but you can't say that about an 8-year-old in second grade in school.
They have EpiPens at school. They do.
You're going to put the the safety of a child in somebody else's hands? Just ban the peanut butter. Who cares?
Yeah, you can have peanut butter on your own time. I don't know.
As a kid, I hated it. I thought they were nerds.
I like the grounding your gears. I love that expression. I've never heard that one before. It grounds your gears?
Grinds your gears.
Grinds my gears.
I like that. That's great.
So let's
I'm
get
writing that down.
we need to break up this. We're off the rails a little bit here with that. We need to break this up. So let's give out our final $50 Wendy's gift card. Let's go with caller number 2 to 610-632-0975. Right now, we'll win our final $50 Wendy's gift card.
In honor of the original Jaylen Hurts.
Yes. Wendy's has $1 soft drinks, any size, all breakfast long, Coke, Sprite, strawberry, Fanta, whatever you want. Any size soft drink for $1, gotta be Wendy's. All right, let's get a non-allergy related text message as well from the text line here, Goddard.
Well, speaking of Jaylen Hurts, we got somebody checking in. Sean is his name. He says, I don't think it's crazy to talk about Daniels and Hurts. However, I'm going to take Hurts over and over and over again. Daniels has shown on glimpses of stardom while Hurts has won the Super Bowl MVP. It's cleared my mind.
I think that's a fair response. Now, everything he said after I think it's fair to compare him or whatever, does sound like there shouldn't be a comparison. That's where I struggle because my gut feeling is Jaden Daniels is a really good quarterback. And if people are going to, especially in July when the NFL talk kind of slows down, if that's where you go to try and make conversation, I don't think it's as bad as could Dak Prescott lead the Cowboys to a Super Bowl or something like that. I don't think it's this outrageous, out of this world conversation that gets shut down on arrival, at least to me. But there's no world where I'm taking Jaden Daniels over Jaylen Hurts right now. That's just where I'm at with that conversation, as far as that's concerned. Also, hey, we got a deal of the week we got to tell the folks about before we get to the key three. You ever been to Sahara Sam's?
I have
Johnny?
not, but it sounds like fun.
I used to drive by it all the time when I lived over in Jersey. You can check out the Fanatic Deal of the Week. You can buy one ticket, get one free for Sahara Sam's Water Park in West Berlin, New Jersey. You can get this exclusive offer while supplies last at 975thefanatic.com/deals. Great time of year for the water park. And they got indoor stuff over there too, I believe. So with the weather, you can still get over there and enjoy it, even if it is going to be raining.
See, that's always cool too.
Yeah, so that's nice to see. So check out Sahara Sam's. You'll get a great deal if you just go to our website. Again, that's 975thefanatic.com/deals. Off day for the Phils. Series with the Padres tomorrow.
More sleep for us at night.
Oh, thank God.
Last night was nice. Get a good night's sleep.
We both went to bed at like 8:30 last night.
I'm going to bed tonight too.
I might do the same. I might even try to go earlier. How early would it be like too weird? I feel like 8:30 is right on the verge.
8:30 was a little early.
If I went to bed at like 7.
I needed it like 9.
Okay.
9.
Yeah, sounds good.
So it could be a good one tonight.
Yeah, but you can get your rest, and it's a nice day where we don't have to have any angst whether or not the Phillies show up and play well. They've got the night off. So you can debate whether or not Bryce Harper is back. You can debate whether or not Jesus Lazardo is the good pitcher we've seen or the bad blow-up starts we've seen, and which one do you trust more? All of that. Plenty of time to do that today. But now it's time for the Kincade Salciunas Key 3, the best 3 minutes of today's show.
Now, the Kincade Salciunas Key 3, today's best.
Hopefully you had good stuff to say yesterday during the Phillies' 13-0 rout of the San Francisco Giants.
Are you kidding me?
I mean,
are you serious?
Yeah, they were unbelievable at the plate against a lesser version of Justin Verlander than we've seen in his career. Okay. The number one thing that I took away from yesterday's game is Bryce Harper's performance. We saw him hit not just an opposite home run, but 3 opposite field doubles. I think 2 off the wall and 1 just short of it. He'd never had 4 extra base hits in a game in his career.
I couldn't believe it.
Unbelievable.
No, I couldn't believe that. When I heard that on post game with Ricky, I was shocked that that's the case. And more importantly, I was shocked when Bryce was telling us how great he is after the game.
Yeah.
Saying how he's great.
Yeah. Well, listen, yesterday he looked great.
I've watched all year and haven't seen that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that Bryce looks in the mirror and sees that. Going to be a weekend series of the Padres that maybe we can see. He puts together a couple good games there because the Padres is a good baseball club.
They are.
Even though they win 1, they lose 1. They win 1, they lose 1. They're puttering around right now. I have a ton of respect for that team. But you got your 3 horses going.
Yes, you do.
Going right into the All-Star break. So here it is. See what you can do heading into the break. By the way, if you are so inclined, you are in first place, so I will give you the number. It's 72 this morning.
Love that.
Imagine number 72. You could have it in the 60s by Monday.
Yeah, that'd be a great place to be.
That'd be nice.
Our pal Adam Schefter joining us now on the Comcast Business Hotline. Shefty.
Yeah, look, I just think they're a good team. When you've got an offense like that, the offensive line is so strong. There are so many weapons. I don't know why there would be a follow-up. And even though there are new faces on the defensive side of the football, I still think it's going to be a strong, tough defense. Like, what are they? I know they lost some parts. You lose Milton Williams, you lose Montez Sweat, you lose some of these guys, Josh Sweat, that's going to make a difference. But they got a lot of talent on that side of the football, a lot. And so it may take a little bit of time for it to come together, but it still should be a very good defense in my mind. Jaden Daniels, to me, he's the future. He just is. And Jalen Hurts already has accomplished so much, with 2 NFC championships and 1 Super Bowl ring, that I'm not comparing anybody to him. But I will say that when you're looking at this league right now, if you could pick one guy for the future, it might just be Jaden Daniels. It might be him right now. That's how impressive he is. And I don't mean just talent, like the way he handles himself and the regard that other players have for him. Again, he still has to go and accomplish everything that Jalen Hurts has, and he has it. So we're still a little premature.
Jaden Daniels, as I said, the number 1 completion for the Commodes in the NFC title game was by their punter. He got owned in the title game. He was not ready for prime time. To talk about him versus the Super Bowl MVP is atrocious. It means you're not watching games. It means you're just going by I think Jaden Daniels is going to be the next greatest thing.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You didn't pay attention.
There it is, the Kincade Salciunas Key 3, the best 3 minutes of today's show. Johnny, your little outburst in the Patrick Mahomes segment didn't make it in.
didn't make it.
Thank goodness.
And that was some good stuff.
No,
it was good.
It definitely was.
It was
If
really
you were
good.
watching on the YouTube, you
I'm
got
sure
an
they got
idea.
entertained, yes.
I'm sure they loved it. But it was a fun show today.
It was.
And it was great to talk about this after the Phillies had a big-time 13-0 victory. Now, the problem, and I tweeted this out yesterday, the Phillies are such a hilariously bipolar baseball team. That's just what they feel like to me. That may be the best word that I can come up with to describe them. They'll get completely shut down offensively for 2 games out of a series and then explode for 13 runs. And the positive look at that is, hey, that 13-run performance team is in there somewhere, right? That version of them does exist.
But they come and go.
They do come and go. And
you got to be able to be consistent to win a World Series.
You do. And for that month stretch in October, you got to be the best baseball team on the planet in order to get that done. Now, I still, those are the days, yesterday are the type of days, the starting pitching they got, the offense they got, the Bryce Harper that they got, make me believe that they're capable of that.
And the matchups, we talked about it. We told people, if you think the Phillies' left-handed heavy pitching may work out with the Nationals.
It may. With the way the Dodgers, the Cubs, and the Mets are all set up against lefties, they're not that good against left-handed pitchers so far this year. So maybe we stumbled on something with just to talk about, are you okay with 3 lefties in the playoff rotation potentially? But clearly we're still figuring out what this team is. Tomorrow we'll have a preview of the final series before the All-Star break for the Phils. So we're going to do a little bit of a retrospective conversation on what this team has been so far. And also we got some interesting stuff from Adam Schefter that I think we could turn into a couple topics for tomorrow's show when it comes to what's going on with the Eagles.
And that's what's in. We got to get the boys ready to sing tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's right. With the
sing.
stupid Padres song, I don't know if I want to sing that.
It's gonna.
It doesn't even make me feel good to mock it. It's
Bryce
so
is
dumb.
going to lose, and Manny's going to cruise. That's
the
what's
goose?
in.
They're just throwing a goose out of nowhere.
And the
Let's
goose.
Go Goose was just like the weirdest part of that. I still don't even know who Goose
I
is.
still don't even know who Goose was.
I don't know.
Goose Gossage back in the day?
Maybe we'll figure
don't
it
know.
out tomorrow. Johnny, you want to
Maybe
remind the
figure it out.
people?
Yeah, I'm going to remind the people of this, that FT Young Heating and Air Conditioning made a donation to the American Association for Cancer Research. You can do the same. Go to 975thefanatic.com/AACR because cancer research just might save your life like it saved mine.
Oh, also, we've got Andrew DeCecco from the 8 o'clock hour on
it'll be
tomorrow.
good
So some
tomorrow
more
with
football
Andrew.
talk with football guy Andrew, and a lot of great baseball talk coming your way.
Be fun.
Next with the Mike Missanelli Show. Mike and Ray, I'm interested to hear how much stock they put into the great game that the Phillies had last night or yesterday afternoon compared to the abysmal start to the series. How much do you value that? They're pretty level-headed guys, so we will see what they get into coming
Who, the
up
next two?
Yeah, we'll be listening.
I'll be
You better
listening.
not go anywhere.
There you go.
So you're listening as well. That's all for Kincade Salciunas today. Again, Mike Missanelli comes your way next, right here, 97.5 The Fanatic.